Mortgage One Studios live. Russ Clark here. It's Tuesday morning. Dean's with me.
Glad to be here too.
Morning, Dean. Weather's still nice outside.
Yes, I actually didn't look at the temperature when I came in. I suspect it's about 81, 82, something like that.
Yeah, it's not killer yet. I mean, it is officially summertime, which...
Oh, yeah.
What was that, this weekend or something?
The 20th was the longest day of the year.
Okay.
So we're starting to decrease the hours of sunshine in Yuma today. Actually, they have been for about 3 days. But we have this thermal inertia thing, so it's going to continue to be warm for another 2 months.
Well,
3 months.
Today's a high of 106. I read somewhere it's supposed to be 115. I don't see it on my forecast. I see 111 on Wednesday and Thursday. That's today.
115 wouldn't be out of reasonableness for Yuma this time of year.
No. But then it's going to go.
I think as I recall, the record we had out at YPG was 121.
Yeah, but we're in for hot weather from now on.
Well,
for next few months.
In September, it starts moderating quite a bit.
The lows by next Tuesday will be 85. So your evenings will be a little warmer.
Yeah, it's not unusual to have a low in the 90s.
Yeah. No, I remember.
Yeah.
and we got September to look forward to. It starts to cool off a little bit.
Yes, that's correct.
In fact, I think I look at it. My birthday's in September, late September, and I keep my fingers crossed that we're going to get below 100 as a high by my birthday, September 23rd. So.
Oh, that's real common.
Yeah.
I think the average in September is right at about 100.
Yeah.
So, the last half of the month, the averages tend to be below 100.
And after 115s and everything, 100 starts feeling pretty good.
Anything under 100 seems like wonderful weather to me.
Yeah, especially if it's dry. Let me see the disclaimer. All content presented on the Russ Clark Show, including statements made by guests, commentators, and callers, reflect the personal opinions of those individuals and is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. These views do not represent the official positions of Mortgage One Studios, its owners, employees, affiliates, or partners. Mortgage One Studios does not endorse, verify, or guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements made by third parties during programming. I need to get a better. I'm going to start wearing this out, and I'll lose it. I almost lost it this morning. I need to.
I think you just make a recording, then you push a button.
It's going to happen. I don't think this is the final equipment I'm going to end up with, though.
Oh yeah, that's very plausible.
I think I've got other equipment coming.
But once you make a recording, it's just a file. It's just a computer file that you can transfer anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at them.
I should.
In my work, I make a fair number of recordings. Interview somebody or something.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I was thinking like, when did you do? But that's right, because you do magazines and articles.
Well, I do, but for the written articles, like you have a factual event that happened, and you interview the person that's involved, and when you write the article, you want to make sure you get everything correct.
So do you carry a little tape recorder and all that, or
not all the time, but I do quite often. And I have 3 little digital recorders. I like the Sony, so I can put them out there. They work great.
Sony's my favorite. I got a Sony.
But I've seen now there's a system out there, and I'm trying to. I think they call it Pocket. I haven't tried it. I don't know how well it works. But what it does is it not only does it record, it creates a transcript for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you prefer? I guess I would.
Oh yeah, I much prefer transcripts because when I'm quoting somebody, I have to do a transcript myself. And I don't know if you've ever done it, but to make a transcript from a voice recording is a tremendous amount of work. I mean, it just takes a lot of time because you want to get everything correct. You don't want to miss a word. You don't want to put the wrong word in there.
Well, that's what my wife did for a living. She was a transcriber for
it's a tremendous.
So just give it to her. She'll get it done.
Oh, that's kind. That's very generous of you.
Just drop it off. Say, hey, Russ said you'll do this for me.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Very nice of you. I'm thinking some of the interviews I've done or where I wanted transcripts. I put hours and hours and hours into making that transcript because it had to be correct. You don't want to make a mistake.
Especially, well, she did it for the courts.
Yes, very important.
And I know she'd back up and listen, back up and listen, back
Exactly.
up and listen,
And that's what I would do too.
Yeah.
So to have a device that would give you a transcript, I mean, you could check it. You would only have to listen once while the transcript there. You probably maybe make a couple little changes.
Sure.
I'm tempted. I think this thing is running. Gosh, I don't know if I even looked at the price. I think it was maybe $100 or something like that. But it's being advertised very heavily on YouTube. So I'm always a little skeptical of stuff that's advertised heavily on YouTube.
Get a 30-day guarantee on it.
I don't know. I thought, well, I'll go to Amazon and see what they have. They might have 17 of those kind of things available, and they all at different prices. And
probably
who knows?
They probably even have some that people turn back to them at a discount.
And there are free programs that you can get that you can put voice recordings into and get transcripts back out of just by using your computer, doing it on the internet. That's available.
Oh.
I have done a little bit of that, and then a lot of YouTube personalities or sites or whatever. They'll give you a closed caption. You can turn that feature on, and it'll show you what's on the screen, and that's kind of useful too, because it's kind of a poor way to get a transcript. You can freeze the frame and then write those words down. But my use of that is that they're really bad quality. I mean, you get a lot of words wrong. So that it's not nearly as useful.
I used to have my recorder was operated by a foot pedal, and I could rewind everything with my feet. Just push it. And I used to have a secretary that had that. And when I was in Denver, and I liked it, and I needed it for some, because I was doing a lot of listening. I mean, I was doing recordings and having
to
do it, so it was a lot easier. I don't know whatever became of that.
Well, the technology,
it's gone now.
The technology has become so ubiquitous and easy and cheap. I had a couple secretaries in my career, and one, Mrs. Yanis down in Panama, was absolutely incredibly good.
Oh,
I mean, once you have a good secretary, it's like, wow. I mean, it increases your productivity so enormously. And of course, most secretaries, or huge numbers of them, have been done away with because of technology.
Yep.
Well, you got a computer. What do you need a secretary for?
Yeah, you don't need one now. I used to have secretaries who would open my mail and respond and write a correspondence, response.
Exactly.
And paperclip it to the letter and everything for me to sign or verify, or if I wanted to make changes to it, whatever. They were a lot of routine stuff.
A good secretary knows how you think.
Yeah.
And what you expect.
Right. And
you say, send a letter to so-and-so and tell them this, and they'll give you a beautiful copy, wonderfully done, and all you have to do is sign it.
That's why you can't have a good secretary if your wife works in a business. I found that out.
Okay.
Well,
I'll bite.
Well, I had a young lady named Elaine working for me when I came to Yuma, because I wanted a secretary much like I had with corporate that understood what I wanted done. The great great asset.
I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about
it. And of course, she did a lot more than that. I mean, I don't need a full-time secretary.
Be careful where you go there.
Well, no. I mean, she was doing books and paperwork and and some
but I mean, it didn't necessarily sound that way.
And she was working with my wife too. They worked in the same office. But if I needed something, I would call her, because she was more in tune with what I needed for the business and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And one day, I don't know what. I mean, it was working okay. And then one day something happened where I was out at meetings or something. I was not, they weren't able to get hold of me. And Elaine says, well, here's what he wants done or something. And she says, no, he doesn't. He wants this done. She says, no. I know he wants it to do this way. My wife, said, well, we've been married for 25 years, and I can tell you, and all that kind of stuff.
Ouch.
So I walk in later, and they asked me, well, what did you want done there? And I said, I wanted it done this way. And Elaine was right.
Well, she's been working with you on the business.
That was pretty much her last day.
That's really sad.
It was terrible.
But I just wanted to sing the praises of secretaries, and there still are quite a few out there. they probably changed the titles significantly because of political correctness. Call them administrative assistants.
I think they are that though. Really, they're more administrative assistants
Well,
than secretaries.
Well,
close.
what's the difference?
I think it was.
I mean, secretaries always did a lot of what we call administrative assistant work. We're just calling them a different title for political correctness.
I think it's the amount of trust you put in them, the amount of authority that you give them.
And you're saying that people didn't trust secretaries?
Some maybe. I mean, we had.
I mean, I'm looking back. First off, originally secretaries were men.
Okay.
Because
less women in the workforce. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And the secretaries had enormous responsibilities and capabilities. And we call it the Secretary of Defense, for example.
Okay. Yeah. But not every place I worked, every secretary had that same responsibility.
I understand.
It was more clerical just for some, and it's like,
well, that's it can be that way.
But and I had 3 in the pool. There were 3 in the pool. We shared them, but there was definitely a top lady that was more assistant than it was.
Yeah, and I should correct myself. Secretary of War.
Secretary of War. That's certainly. Yeah.
I prefer that title.
Very valuable if you can get somebody, and they get promoted in a long time. They work their way up to where there's administrative assistant. Maybe even after that, they're Führer. Hell Führer. I know companies that have gotten that far.
I made it a point in my career with the U.S. government, inside the U.S. government, to always treat secretaries extremely well.
Well, they're the gatekeepers, dude.
Yes, they have enormous power.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And if you're on the good side, the secretary, lots of good things happen.
Absolutely, access. And otherwise,
if you get on the wrong side, you better work hard at getting on the right side.
And I always listen to them.
Yeah,
I always listen to them.
But that goes for almost anyone,
because they're writing my letters. They're helping with correspondence. And if they tell me like, hey, that guy was in his office, he was rude, he was terrible, you don't want to deal with him. Yeah. I paid attention to that.
Oh, but think about if that's being said about you.
Well, that would be terrible.
I'm saying you don't want to be there.
That's why I would never. And I know guys that were like that. In fact, I had a guy working for me once when I was in.
It's unfortunate.
When I was in Tampa, and he was a top guy in whatever department head he was. I don't know. He was like doing a lot of stuff, but he was in the office next to me, and he had the phone up to his ear, screaming, well, I can't believe you did that. And after I did this, and he was ripping this guy apart. So I walked in and I said, who was that? And he said, oh, that's the guy that does this for us.
Oh,
I said, well, man, you sure told him. I said, well, he wasn't there. I was just talking to his secretary. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, that might be a little better.
We need to get rid of you, man.
Oh, man.
Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Jesus Christ, Ross.
What's going on,
good morning.
Ted?
Happy Trans Tuesday.
I don't know what Trans Tuesday is in reference to.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
What's up?
Please.
Yeah.
Educate me. You went to a black college on the East Coast, correct?
HBCU, yes, Historical Black College University, Delaware State University.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares?
Joey Reed, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, she's a horrible lady. Yeah.
Yeah, broadcasting
race
buddy,
baiter. Yeah, of course.
Right. She believes that all blacks hate 4th of July.
Well,
and that they don't celebrate 4th of July.
I would say she's very wrong.
Yeah, I think that's, for anytime you say all, you're on dangerous territory.
Very wrong. I know a lot of patriotic people.
With many black people in D.C. on 4th of July, believe they celebrate 4th of July.
Why do they not? Any of them?
All of them. We all did. We all partied, blew up stuff.
Well,
drank.
How could Joy be
tomahawk steaks, barbecue?
How could Joy be so wrong? She speaks for the entire race.
I know.
Yeah, she was elected, wasn't she?
No.
Oh no.
She was fired, actually.
Well, fired, kicked to the curb.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I was just curious when you were in college, how many years did you go? Half a year or something? What, did you graduate?
I graduated. Yeah. So I went 3 years.
4 years, 2 years? How many?
I went 3. I took my junior and senior year in 12 months.
Right.
I
Did
wanted to
they
get out.
celebrate 4th of July when you were in college?
Of course. Yeah, right there in Dover, Delaware, downtown by the
Yeah.
Capitol. We had fireworks
Right.
displays that were horrible. I mean, they'd have one go off, and then 5 minutes later, another one. It's just they're stretching it out.
I guess Biden wasn't
Yeah.
senator yet.
No, he wasn't. That was many years
No,
ago.
nobody in the North can count anyway past 5. So
Get
whatever.
out of here. We're doing very well.
But do you have that? Did you get that feeling when you were in college that they were anti-American and didn't celebrate the 4th of July and we're all slave owners and stuff like that?
No, and I was very
No?
naive. I didn't even see hate back then. I didn't understand it.
Right.
know.
So where does she come up with this? What is it? Just a paid?
Got to look
by
at
the
who she is,
broadcasting
my
net-
friend. Look at the pain she's in every
Yeah.
day. And if you've read anything on how liberals react versus conservatives, there's a lot of mental disorders on the liberals that just conservatives don't have. I mean, there's a higher percentage of mental problems, depression,
Right.
sadness,
Right.
all being, and that comes for free with being a progressive.
Well, I think it's
nothing's for free, man.
Yeah.
It's a
No,
feedback
there's never
loop.
any free.
It works both ways. If you're depressed and you have mental problems, you're more likely to be on the left.
Right.
And so
And-
and then the attitudes on the left tend to be depressing.
And negative constantly. You're a victim constantly. There's a boogeyman constantly.
Well, yeah, Sharpton is the biggest one of them.
He's
Trying
a
to
race
hold the
baiter,
black
but
race down.
he looks pretty happy. I
He's-
think he's having a good time.
He's
Who?
made a lot of money.
Sharpton. Yeah, Sharpton's having a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I think he actually smiles a lot. I don't think Reed does ever.
Oh, Al, my buddy,
Yeah.
run him for president.
Yeah.
He
So-
was not
so-
happy. Didn't he go after Barack and saying, why'd they pick him instead
that-
of me?
No, he didn't do that. To my knowledge, did
Was
he?
it somebody else?
No.
There was somebody who said
But I
that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But they need to look at this, and I think you should, guys, too.
What?
Is that the money's owed on the cinder block for Obama's, that big cinder block they put up for Obama's.
Oh,
library.
Obama's
you mean the
library. Yeah,
big library?
apparently a lot of
Yeah, the
money has
cinder
not
block.
been paid.
Yeah.
The contractors have not been paid.
Well,
yet.
I don't know about
Everything that
all
Trump
of them.
has built.
Yeah.
Well,
Go
they say all of them. All the subcontractors have
Huh?
not been paid at all. None of them.
Okay.
Do you hear anything
I
about Trump's buildings and stuff not being paid?
Yes,
Their
I have.
contractors
In
not
years
being paid?
past, there's been complaints about Trump
Yeah.
that they didn't get paid.
Yeah.
There have
Yeah.
been. But I think that's
You
normal.
got the receipts? They got the receipts on the Obama stuff. What about Trump? You got receipts on it?
I haven't researched it in any great depth, but there has been accusations made that he didn't pay some contractors. But I don't know the circumstances. Maybe they didn't do the work. I have no idea.
Well, that's one of the things I've read is he was not satisfied with the product, and then he renegotiated. So I don't know if all of them got paid as much as they demanded, or they
Well,
settled on a
as,
lesser
as-
amount.
as much as he built, I guarantee you, a lot of them got paid, or he wouldn't have been. In
Well,
business.
sure, but there may be some that claim they were not paid correctly.
I haven't. There's a lot of things I've done in the past on automotive that I haven't got paid for because I didn't live up to the end of my deal. I either did it wrong, and I take the responsibility for that. I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. I
Wow.
didn't go after them, and
I-
lie about it,
I've never heard
and lie
Ted-
about it.
I've never heard Ted admit mistakes before.
Yeah, it's kind of new to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've looked down the wrong end of a gun before. Believe me.
Oh,
Um,
that's a mistake I don't want to make. Yeah.
Everybody does it.
No.
So you believe that
Yeah.
Joey Reid is race baiting?
Correct. No, she's very, very just racist herself. She's horribly racist, and then blames everyone else
think
for being
that she-
racist.
Do you think she's being backed by certain broadcasting executives?
CNN fired her. I don't know which broadcasting executive would be backing her. I don't
So
know.
where's
She's kind of doing a podcast.
Isn't she? Oh, she's not on The View anymore.
Oh no, she was on CNN, but she's doing a podcast.
I guess I'm mistaken. I thought she was on The View.
Yeah, she's kind of like Joe Rogan, only not successful.
Not as
No,
well,
they were told on The View that they need to start bringing in some Remember when Vance was on there?
I
Yeah.
I agree. I don't
Appeal.
I don't know that was told to them that we know about, but I'm pretty sure behind the scenes something had to push that because they didn't want him because it makes
This is
them look
what was
bad.
told. So this This is what was told to them. Either you do it or the show's gone.
Now, how do you know?
That's what they were told.
How do you know that's
They were told either you start doing it, stop your hatred of Trump, calling for his execution and all, because that's what Joey
well,
Behar
that
did.
may be possible, but I don't think they made any of that public, so I don't have a copy of that.
How would you react if let's say your ownership told you had to do a certain thing or else? Well, how would you react? What would
I never had to face that, but I thought about it a lot, and I would stick to my principles.
So you would just say, okay, I'm leaving by, right?
If I had to leave the profession, I would. But my principles
Right.
aren't
So-
like
so the girl-
I insist on being a racist. Okay.
Right. So
It's
so
not
the
bad.
girls on The View are nothing but hose to the broadcasting industry.
No, you could say that about everybody. And you could say that about anybody that picks up a mic, because we all have our own limitations and what we will and won't put up with. But I think they're very stuck in their racist, myopic view of society. Yeah.
Right.
I think what happens, Ted, is that
Yes.
people who run the networks and programs hire people that have the views they want to have put out.
Generally. Yeah,
So,
I think so.
it's not like the people have to make a terrible choice because they already have that
Yeah.
view or they wouldn't get hired.
That's why they're complaining about
Right.
changes in ownership,
Yes, absolutely.
because now the world's gone to hell. In fact, I read I read something from the Guardian the other day on these changes in ownership and how it's destroyed journalism, and it's forcing people out and all that stuff, and it's killing journalism, and that's just a bunch of crap.
You're a more of a journalist, in my opinion. This is my opinion.
Uh-huh.
Than 90% of the hacks starting in DC and all the other networks that are on the airwaves.
Journalism is not necessarily honest. They're definitely looking for the right amount of clicks. They're looking for the right amount of attention, and I'm looking for the right amount of truth.
Well, Ted,
And-
what I see is a lot of people that I respect who put out a lot of content reject
Yeah.
the term journalist because it's become synonymous with dishonesty.
Stupid.
Yeah.
And so they just say, I'm not a journalist.
Is Joe Rogan a third journalist?
I think he is.
I think he is. I think he's one of the best, but he's another one. He sits down and says what he wants to say and what he believes in, and he listens to everybody.
Well,
know.
his interviews are incredibly well
They're
done.
very well done. He's very good at that. He understands.
I think he's an exemplar
Yeah.
of how an interview should be done.
right, and he's his own boss. And
Right. So he's not beholden to some network.
Nope. And neither's Joy Reid. But you see the difference.
Yes.
She's just a bad, in my opinion, just a horrible person. I wouldn't want to have her as a neighbor.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
then
it would
why
be
did
interesting to see her try to do a 3-hour interview with President Trump. Not going to happen.
But I'd love to have beer with Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
He's a guy I'd like to be with. Yeah,
You don't drink.
I'd make an exception.
There's weak beer, there's
Yeah.
near beer. You come up with something.
He just can't. He can't get that beer stein out of his hand.
Give me
That's the problem.
give me a who? Joe Rogan or me?
You,
I
you Prussian.
think
God,
I
come
think I've
on,
had
man.
one beer this year.
In a
you
stein
beat
or a
me.
can.
Yeah. Oh.
I have it all the time, except I cook with it. I don't use it for
Oh.
drinking.
No, I went out to celebrate someone's birthday Thursday.
Right.
Willie, that I do a lot of broadcasts with
Mm.
on the fights, the ringside fights and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he turned
Yeah.
41, so I went out and had a beer.
Right.
I felt terrible on Friday.
Speaking of fights, I was
Yeah.
watching this new thing that's on TV. I just happened to come
So-
across it on cable.
Oh,
TBL. Have you seen any of it? Team Boxing League?
no,
Oh, you got to watch it, Russ. If
I
you
don't-
like boxing, TBL. You got to
TBL.
watch this.
Uh,
It's team boxing,
so it's
female and male.
a lot of
okay?
young ones coming up. That'd be good.
Yeah, they had some older boxers on there, but I mean, these guys, the
Yuma,
women are the ones to watch. They don't do that dancing around, stepping around.
there's a
and-
lot of tough women. You haven't been to one of the Yuma Fight League things that
Nah.
I support and all that. They do a great job, and young, old, and we do some stuff just for the kids. We do it separate, where there are a lot of
Mhm.
grappling and stuff for the kids, and
Right.
it's always nice to see these young men and women growing up.
Right.
And
I think the oldest boxer in this TBL league is 34 years old. But I'm going to tell you, after watching 3 hours of it off and on.
Yeah.
The women are much better boxers than the men.
There's a Japanese woman I like watching, and she does kickboxing. And
Right.
when she hops around on one leg, keeps one leg up in the air like she's ready to strike, and she's phenomenal. She just kicks her way through the fight, and she punches, but I mean she kicks her way through.
Yeah.
Forget her name, but I'll send you a copy. Well, I can't. You don't do texting.
Yeah, no.
All right, I'll have to. I'll
When
just.
you come by to look at my wall, like you said you would,
Yeah.
You could drop it off.
I'll do it.
So anyway, team boxing league. I'm serious. You need to watch this. It is just
I'll do it.
unbelievable, Russ.
All right,
Unbelievable.
Ted, go away, Ted.
All right, bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ted with this.
Well, Ted has hit on this phenomena of why the old networks are dying,
Yeah.
because you can get content that you're interested in that you find a lot more
But it doesn't mean
entertaining or educational,
it-
and it's all over the place.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean the network's going to die. They'll die if they don't keep up.
Well,
They'll die if they can't compete.
what I said is they are dying, and I think they are.
Well, some of them are because they're stuck in what they're doing. They haven't progressed. They haven't changed. They haven't opened up, and less people are watching.
Yes. That's exactly what's
That's why
happening.
Joy Reid's gone. People stop putting up with that crap of race baiting, and I hate life, and I'm a wonderful person, and you're all racist.
Yes, and the additional thing that I see is the whole premise that networks were based on, that there is only so much spectrum out there, and the government will allocate it through licenses, and so you only had 3 major networks, 4 if you want to
Yeah.
count PBS.
Those days are done.
They're gone. They're
Yeah.
gone. There are thousands and thousands of channels out there. And with those thousands of available choices, like on YouTube or X or wherever,
Lot of
you
good
don't
choices.
you can find something that you particularly really want to watch.
It's bouquet stuff. Let's take a phone call. I got my fact checker online. Good morning, Edward.
Good morning. I want to return back to your discussion on secretaries, administrative assistants, and executive assistants.
Okay.
People who have those jobs and people who integrate with them should understand that they truly, as you said, are the gatekeepers and they rule the world.
Right.
And you should never assume who is sitting at the secretary's desk.
Yeah, well,
That's
good
actually-
point.
That's a safe point. Yeah, be careful.
Because one of the items that I do, if they're looking at a top-ranked employee that's in a meeting with me that day, is I tell the receptionist to go get a coffee break, and I sit and I check him in,
Wow.
And they
and
don't
I talk to them.
they don't recognize you?
That most people don't.
Try to find a picture of me online.
Yeah,
Can't do
okay.
it.
Okay, so I mean, if they're rude, I simply say, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Josh was busy today. He canceled your appointment. We're not interested."
You're serious.
Oh yes. And when they back, you are, how dare you? The receptionist tell me I'm so and so. I went here. I went, oh, I'm not the receptionist. I'm Joshua's boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
that's a good technique.
That's brilliant. And you enjoy doing those things.
I do, because that's actually how I started.
Well, yeah.
I was,
you were an assistant right there.
I was truly, the secretary became, what he trained in the profession. So I became an admin, became executive assistant, became chief of staff, and then became chairman.
You think you'll ever get that promotion to Führer?
Oh God, no. One does not wish to upset Her Majesty.
Maybe emperor.
That's actually what Edward will classify his most valuable employee is the Führer, the one that keeps him out of trouble.
Yeah, we all
Is
have
that?
little pet names. You know.
And I just simply used to refer to her as a Nazi because the way she proficient German concepts she had. But she told me that was a negative view. She prefers Führer.
Yeah. She's well aware that you do that, by the way.
Oh yes. To the point we have to look around because when she walks in the room, we stand in and we give the official salute.
Oh man. So you make her aware of it. Yeah.
Yes.
But But just so you know, Dean, Edward is not afraid to hire people that are going to point out his faults. And
Oh, that's some of
he's
the
not-
best kind.
he does not put himself with yes men around him, at least as far as I
Why
know.
would you? That's a self-defeating
I know
tactic.
I know so many people that do that.
It's really a bad idea.
Did you have any yes men on your payroll, Edward?
Every now and then we wind up, you hire somebody, they become yes men, and they don't last very long.
Okay.
Usually the Fuhrer has the Secret Service take them away.
No, they're not as valuable. Of course, you don't want to hire a Joy Reader either. Someone's going to attack you every day.
Well,
Well,
unfortunately,
no, I prefer the attack.
Oh, really?
If you attack me in my office on what I'm saying, what I'm doing, then I'm prepped for the outside.
Okay.
And I often ask people, and Carrie is more than willing to volunteer. And I say, okay, listen, I'm going to express my comments here. Tell me where I'm wrong. And usually I start, my name is, excuse me, you're wrong.
That's a work hard.
And, yeah, and it's the value of that's the employee you want, is one who's willing to say, that's not a, good thing to do right now.
Yeah.
well, exactly.
Because I don't know everything. And Madison's busy, so I can't call somebody who knows everything, being a teenager.
Well, I was going to say, Madison told me you know everything. I did.
Wow,
Oh.
she said that.
Yeah, no, she didn't.
I was going to say,
I was
going to have her immediately drug tested. But it is that area, as if you really truly want to succeed, and you look at all levels to help you make a decision.
Yeah.
And if people are going to be yes men, you're guaranteed you're going to be failed. And that is truly what sunk Germany during World War II. Is they let a corporal, decide, the war plan, which was probably not the smartest things around.
Well,
No.
fear of being shot will do that to you.
Yes, but of course, it's those of willing to do that, to shoot someone who you're looking to. Are you crazy? This man is a survivor of 2 wars. He's a general, and I'm going to take the hand of a failed painter. Okay, great. Lovely. That's not going to bring you success.
Yeah.
Success, as my father told you, is the private who's willing to walk up, slap you in the face, and go, "What the screw are you thinking?" That is success.
Edward, do you run into many managers who are afraid of having someone more competent than them working for them?
Oh, all the time,
Yeah.
constantly. It's fear of promotional loss.
Right.
That they'll outshine me, and so they terminate them. I'm surrounded by people who are more competent than me. I mean, I go to the janitorial department. I'm surrounded by people who are more competent than me.
Well, at their jobs.
But somehow you
it's
got
just
the head chair,
Yeah, just the fact that people used to refer to John and I as an old married couple, because when I thought nobody was looking, we would argue points.
Right.
And then as soon as we went into public, he adjusted tone or I bit my tongue. But the point was I was willing to tell him, no, you're wrong.
But that's why John found you valuable.
Well, it's
And that's
absolutely correct. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are not very well grounded in their own belief structure. And so they're afraid of people who they think are smarter or more competent than them, when actually you hire those people and you do better.
Yeah, that is why we have such a screwed up government, because the good qualified people leave because politicians, most of them,
A lot of
have
them.
an attitude of I'm God and I know better. And it's ridiculous to see that they have a 22-year-old who's now put in charge of defense programs because the experienced person left because they got tired of being told, no, you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Senator, we shouldn't, advise that Iowa build our battleships. It's no. He's a good friend of mine. We shall of Iowa build the battleships. I mean, that's the kind of concept, idiocy you'll see around. And then build the battleships in Iowa, and they figure out, I wonder how we get these in the ocean.
But that's good for you, because that puts those people out in the open market, and that's where you snatch them up.
It does. I mean, that's where you find out people who left, so-and-so left for this firm. And I will go after former staffers who moved to lobbying shops, and I'll actually track them down and say, okay, I couldn't do this before, but here's a check. How would you like to come over here?
Mm-hmm.
And what I would prefer to do is you to handle the issue as far as your title allows you to allow, and then you go to the up and come to me. And it's always better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Always.
Always.
That's an old
I
military
would,
saying.
I would question the always, but I agree with it in principle for sure. Yeah.
So I remind everyone out there that all because you may start your career and you think I'm nothing but a lowly secretary.
Oh,
I
no.
will tell you that the lowly secretary can become, queen of the universe, and hopefully I'll be able to actually, ride her coattails the rest of the way. It's the only thing that's stopping you is you. Don't listen to those idiots out there who say, "Oh, well, she's only a secretary. He's only a secretary."
They are the gatekeepers, man. They
That's
always-
that's
most
really a
every
bad
business.
attitude.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to play with
So that is, I wanted to make sure you push that. Now, I would jump a subject to think of people to think about this.
What's that?
As you know, I have Madison, my 15-year-old.
Right.
She is in her time in Spain right now, running around with friends. Does it seem parentally correct? And I ask this question because I've never parented a 15-year-old before,
Right.
other than up to now. Does it seem to allow her a long leash to make mistakes, but while you are prodding them for, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this? Or do you think they should learn to fail completely? My father believes in the concept that it is better to watch the person fall flat on their face, bruised, battered, and figure out how to pick themselves up.
I agree. I agree with your dad. You got to be able to make mistakes. You can't bubble wrap them.
But how? I mean, do you truly let them fall flat on their face and bruise? I mean, you ship your kid to a work camp simply for the fact that he disagrees on policy with you, or do you allow them, some sort of positioning and protection because the direction they're heading is flawed? And I'm confused and I'm not sure right now. I hear both ends of the stories.
I think you got to give them enough distance to make a mistake, but close enough to take care of it when it's just a bruise and not an open wound.
I'm curious if other callers, other people give their opinion because I am frankly uncertain how far to push it.
Well,
because I was so far to the one side, it's not even funny.
Yeah, you're very protective. You're a helicopter dad at times, I would imagine.
Yes,
but I think you give them a lot of leeway. I mean, let me say it. You expose them to so much more than most parents do. I mean, you're not afraid to expose them. Teach them how to shoot guns. Teach them how to climb a mountain. I don't know. Teach them how to work in cold areas. Take them around. They see more than most children. So it's not like they're not exposed. It's not like they're living bubble wrapped in their bedroom.
I think you give them responsibility.
I did want to tell Dean one thing. Madison yesterday was at the Spanish Royal Palace, and they had different types of what we would refer to revolutionary guns. And Madison was able to, when someone said, "Do you know what this is?" She told them, and she goes, "I shot one of those." If you remember, you allowed my daughter to use your gun, your weapon.
Yeah, right.
And she remembered that, and she told, and the individual, the soldier, was like, "Really? We aren't allowed to shoot these."
Yeah, Europe, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, that's awesome. But
so I do want to say, but
I don't know that you bubble wrap them completely. I mean, you let them do stuff. I remember when Madison was shooting a shotgun, and it was punishing her, and she's bullheaded enough, says, "I'm going to shoot it again," and she couldn't raise her right arm up, and I'm going to shoot it again, and you let that happen, and that impressed me because you're letting her take the bumps and speak her own mind. She would have disliked you if you took that gun away from her.
That's true, but she did injure herself.
Of course she did, but it was bruises. It's not, it's not life-changing.
Though she did like the attention of all the young gentlemen who came to her aid.
She's learning. She's tough. She doesn't need that. But I think you give them lots of rope and lots of exposure. I don't know that I know so many people that would have never let their child pick up a firearm. You're not afraid to let them explore. You'll let them.
Well, as they say, I was allowed to do something. Why should they? It's my policy, but many parents are with me are upset because I allow them to do things. And they say, "Well, your daughter or your son tells us X, Y, and Z that they did, and that's a no-no. You shouldn't do that." I'm uncertain if I'm going the wrong direction.
She and when she was visiting Human, we were out at the out at the mine and everything. It was middle of the night. It was late night, not middle, but it was late at night. And I said, follow me. And we went up into the mine with just her and one other friend. And the bats chased us out. And
I remember that.
and I said, you want to go back? She says, yeah. And we went right back. I mean, she is not a wallflower or horribly protected. We got chased out twice. She is, I mean, you have not babied her to the point where, you know, she's afraid of life.
Yeah. No, I did send you an article that they did a survey of the oldest child is more successful of all the children. They did a survey of that. I believe they figured
Yeah.
it out.
I've got that printed in front of me. I found it true because I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
It's a statistical phenomena. It's clearly measurable.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you spend more time with the oldest, and I mean the amount of time you've spent with your kids is unbelievable considering the workload that you carry and the things you accomplish. That you spend as much time and interest that you have. They may not like it right now, but I think they'll grow to appreciate it completely. And you still give.
I wasn't allowed a childhood, so I like to play with them.
Yeah, well, that's what you say. You had a childhood. It was just doing adult things. That's all.
One does when someone says camp, I didn't realize that actually meant going and having fun somewhere, not going to Paris Island.
Yeah.
That was one of the areas which I didn't understand when people said, oh, they did this in camp and that camp. You played volleyball at camp. When was your running? When did you do your shooting? How wet was the weight of your backpack?
Well, your dad was raising a Marine, obviously. You just didn't enlist. That's all.
Knees. I have 2 pins in my knees, and in that 90s, they were finding Bill Clinton was looking for reasons to shrink the military.
Now, would you have joined had you not had that injury?
I went with my father at 3 different recruiters.
You did? Okay.
Yes. He pushed a little bit, but he used to remind me that he is not there to push. He is simply there to let them see what could potentially be the outcome style Marine. I'm
not pushing you, but get in there and get the job. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, one of those things. And he's there to recognize, look, this is my son, and look at me, I'm the jack, so you shall understand that if he's my son, you should take him because he might become the hammer. He'll never be a jack, but he'll definitely potentially be a hammer.
Oh, so do you believe you overcompensate and are unusually too soft on your children?
I run both rounds. I realized that growth, that growing up style, allowed me to take more than most my age.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I look back and remember my friends going off to camp, and I was, at 14 going to Paris Island. And now I wonder what camp actually was really like. Not doing 6 weeks at Paris Island with my father in tow.
Yeah.
So I look at the kids in that way.
You still expect a lot from them. I mean, you're the guy that goes and visits Civil War battle areas and then have them write a paper on it, not for school, but for you.
Well, to make sure they understand it.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, I think you have a good balance.
What they say, if you don't understand history, you're bound to repeat it.
Yeah. Your kids know history, I'm sure.
So that is my issue. I don't want to clog up the airways.
Okay.
It's my question that what people think about in those guys. You have a great time, and I'll go back to my run.
Take care,
Cheers.
sir. Bye-bye. So if we have any callers who want to call and give Edward advice, we'll make sure he gets the information, man.
Well, he's listening, so.
Oh yeah, he'll pick up on it, or he probably has AI listening, so that if he's has some interference or something, can't listen, he'll ask AI later, or AI will lay it out for him and say, "Did anybody call in and tell me about advice?" He has that capability. Hey, there was a armed robbery in Yuma at the Chevron station on Sunday, so I want to know where you were at 4 a.m. on Sunday.
Which Chevron?
Oh, it matters to you?
Yeah.
32nd Street and South Arizona Avenue.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't there.
I've been by that one many times. And here's where they described the guy: late 20s, early 30s, 5'7", 250 pounds. I take it he didn't run away.
No, probably not. But
Nope, it says
Yeah.
he ran away.
that's right next to the
Uh-huh.
vertical church, I think, or very close.
Yeah, it's
to it.
very close to it. Yeah, it's just right down the street. He ran away with an undisclosed amount of money. So if you know anything about it, call YPD or 7-8 crime. They're looking for suspects.
You know, I bet there are cameras all over the place, so it's probably an investigation going on.
There they are. He entered the Chevron and had a gun.
Did he have a mask?
It doesn't say.
Oh, okay.
It just says a 5'7" and 250 pounds.
Mm.
And he's probably listening to this now and saying, "I'm only 240."
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's possible.
No injuries were reported. Wearing a black and tan baseball cap, black shirt, gray shorts, black sneakers. Time of robbery. So I can't believe they didn't catch him already. You wouldn't think it'd be that easy to get away with that, would it? With all the cameras.
It's early. I mean, you know, maybe he took off for San Diego. I don't know.
I don't know, but usually people like to talk about that stuff.
A huge number of criminals talk themselves into convictions.
Yeah, they'll tell friends and tell whatever.
It's apparently very hard to keep your mouth shut.
Apparently, I wouldn't know. I've never tried. The FBI's got some more information on that Nancy Guthrie that vanished, which has been really odd to me that they haven't found anybody on that one. And of course, this is a lady that was kidnapped in Florida. I think it was Florida, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, I don't think.
Oh, no, it's Arizona, right here in Arizona. I'm sorry, it's Arizona. And a lady that had some money,
right?
And
she's quite elderly. She's in her 80s.
Yeah, and people asked for ransom of billions of dollars, a billion in Bitcoin or something. And now they sent another letter claiming that she died, offered an apology. I don't know what's real in this thing.
Well, exactly. And that's what I was thinking. Do we know it's the person who kidnapped her? What proofs do they offer? Or is it just somebody trying to, gain some money out of a tragedy?
And we talked a little bit about this, about the capabilities sometimes of FBI, capabilities of these guys. And if you're a kidnapper, you have to have some contact.
Yes.
And I don't know how you can have a contact without a thread that the FBI is going to follow back to your door.
Exactly. It's extremely difficult. And that's the big problem for kidnappers is you have to communicate somehow in order to get money. And that communication offers, it's always some way to get back to the person. I mean, even if they go to an anonymous internet cafe somewhere, there's almost always cameras. And the cameras then have an image of a person who was at that computer at that time for a while, or at the table, or sometimes even maybe sitting in a car outside. Our digital age has made it very difficult to escape crimes.
They've got some video of this guy, or I think from the kidnapping, don't they? I mean,
I don't
know.
From
the DoorDash camera or something.
I think there was some images of some person that was masked, and they probably could get a pretty good idea of height.
Yeah,
maybe even weight.
Stick AI on that thing, and
they might have gotten skin color. Hard to say.
But that's why I'm shocked that they don't have, and it had to be somebody that knew who Nancy was, probably someone that knew her.
You would think so.
Yeah,
but that might only limit the number of suspects to a few thousand. Don't know.
I don't have any idea. I'm just shocked this thing still goes on. That it's still a problem, and there's been 2 ransom notes, and those things have been investigated. Those notes, they probably for fingerprints, for any kind of DNA, or
it's hard not to leave evidence.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I get somebody else to write your ransom note.
Really tough. I mean, like, even if you have it printed out and then only handle the paper with rubber gloves on or something, that still is likely to identify the type of printer. And the type of paper, all of that those are just more clues to finding out your identity.
Let's take a phone call. Gilbert, good morning.
Hey, Russ, you're talking about a lot of things all over the United States, all over the world.
Of course.
How about talking about some local politics that's going on in Yuma?
Go ahead.
Just give us a review of what's going on. I just want to, you're the first vice chair here in Yuma, correct?
Right.
Okay, so what's going on politically? I see a lot of garbage going on, and I just want to know your take on it. This Pedro dude,
In reference,
apparently, this Pedro came out yesterday on Facebook, and he has like 10 questions he wants to meet with the mayor and ask these questions. So are you aware of any of that stuff?
I am not. I haven't followed that.
But we have primaries coming up.
Yes, we do.
Right. And apparently whoever this guy, he might even be an AI type of guy. He's asking all these questions, and I'm seeing it. I understand something's going on with city council also. So what's your take on all this stuff?
Well, I will tell you, I have no idea. I haven't followed the Facebook questions.
How about city council? What's going on with city council?
I have no idea right now. What do you mean? What's going on with city council?
I understand they're talking about censoring him. Have you heard anything about that?
Nope. Haven't heard a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you were the talk of Yuma.
Well, tell me what you want to talk about. But no, I haven't heard about censoring who? Censoring who? The mayor?
No, Art Morales.
Oh, Art Morales. I did hear something about that, I guess.
Yeah. That's pretty big stuff to me.
It can be.
I know him, and I would be totally surprised if he did something wrong.
Well,
But
what he's
who
accused,
am I?
he's accused of saying of saying something that he wasn't allowed to because it was in the executive session, and then that got published. I haven't talked to Art about it. I heard about it, but I'm sure that'll get exposed, and those are big offenses. You can't do those things, especially if it's controversial. Yeah.
Well, it certainly destroys trust.
Yeah.
Right.
But
If he's convicted.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's gonna be any charges, but there could be
Yeah.
if it's serious enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't talked to Art Morales since I heard
you-
about it.
Have you heard any more on this Carlos Adams that's running against the mayor?
I just know he's very active. He's trashing the mayor. He's still doing some AI stuff out there. I don't agree with that kind of stuff. I think that's harsh, unnecessary. He's a writing candidate that it's almost an impossible task to beat somebody as a writing candidate.
Very difficult.
You would have to have somebody like running against somebody that's really abhorrent that people don't like, and that's not our mayor Nichols. So they're trying to create that, and I really find that offensive. That's her way of winning, is to create an atmosphere that our mayor is not doing the job and is terrible. I think that's a horrible way to get noticed. And it's his first time running. He did not even register to vote in Yuma until right before he decided to run. He's never voted for in his life. He's a dual citizen, and all his businesses have been outside Yuma.
Yeah, Mexico.
Well, Mexico, and he's got some other stuff in China and stuff. He's got, because he does some textiles, making socks and textiles and boxing equipment, which he opened up a store in Yuma just within the last month, selling boxing equipment, so he could say he has a foothold in Yuma and he wants to be a mayor now. But to me, he's kind of like a newcomer. Doesn't come in, smart guy. Spent a couple hours with him. I like him, but I don't like what he's doing. And I think, if he wants a future in politics, and he started it off by kicking dirt in everyone's face, and then going to a debate that he's not prepared for, without getting any kind of understanding or training on how to handle himself, and he's got the resources to do it. I don't understand.
Yeah, and we also got city council candidacies. It's pretty crazy out there with that also.
Oh, you mean
what I remember?
Derek Egebert?
Candidate. Well, I like him.
Yeah.
But there's a total of 4 now, or is it 5?
Okay.
I know Derek is a write-in.
Yeah, Derek's a write-in, and we got 3 other candidates that are on the ballot. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Ron Van Hoy, and
I like Ron. I don't know him real well, but I've talked to him and I know him. But
and Carol Smith. Carol Smith.
And I know she's a Democrat and all that, but I like her. And from everything everybody I've talked to about her, she's very serious about doing the right things for Yuma, and she's been she's been effective and good at what she's doing. I can't
She's
say,
also on the hospital board.
yeah, I can't say anything bad about her. She's an aggressive, nice young lady.
And then we got Mr. Henry Valenzuela, correct?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Oh.
Yeah, of Henry.
What?
I mean, there's some problems with him, and you can get it on Facebook, and it's not rumor, whatever, but there's some write-ups that were released for him when he was a police officer and some of the stuff that he was accused of, but it's actually written up in reports. It's not rumor. I mean, there are reports, and he hates the mayor and doesn't like the police chief, and I think he more than likely get elected. I mean, chances of him get elected are huge. He's one of 3 that are on the ballot. The only one that could probably cause a disruption would be Derek Egbert, and I hope he does. But Henry's going to be a vocal anti-police, police anti, because he was a police officer. He doesn't like Tom Garrity, and I think will cause some problems. He'll cause some problems. He'll try. I mean, one councilman can't make everything happen. It's just going to be irritant.
Now, I wouldn't. I know him.
Yeah.
I know how he is.
Sure.
I wouldn't call him anti-police. Maybe he's anti-police chief, but not anti-police.
I think that's more correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. He is anti-police chief. He's anti-mayor. And that's just, it's not what I want to see on, that's not what I want to see on the board.
I'm not sticking up for him,
Yeah.
mind you. Russ, I'm somewhat half-ass intelligent, but I think he's anti-establishment. He's anti seeing the same thing going on and on, no changes. I think that's what he's all about. Listening to what he's saying,
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting. I think he's anti-establishment. When there's a lot of people saying the same thing, we've been doing the same thing for so many years, and nothing has really changed. That's all his rhetoric. Do I believe or do I accept all of what he says? No, absolutely not.
Well, you remember he was anti the PAC big time, and he used to come in on the radio with me, and he made me do my research, because he would say well, they're illegally transferring funds or illegally doing things, and so I would go check it all out, and he was wrong on every account. And when I told him he was wrong, he wouldn't accept it.
I could bring stuff up, and say, well, how about this? How about this? How about that?
Yeah.
And we lost a city administrator because of all this crap. It's not worth it to me to bring that garbage up. What happened.
What do you mean?
That's the best I can say. Well, with the PAC, Greg lost his job, and a lot of it had to do with that and a bunch of other garbage. That's the PAC.
I like that. I don't think it had anything. I don't think it had anything to do with the PAC. That's news to me. There's nothing wrong with the PAC.
It was out in the streets, and I'm going, wow, that was the worst piece of land we ever had to grow cotton. The best thing for us to happen was to get that PAC, because that was useless.
It's been a huge
grow cotton.
Yeah, it's been a huge success, and it's always a risk. It's always worth questioning. I don't mind that when we need to question.
But you remember how low that cotton grew there? You ever see a large yield of cotton in that place? Russ?
It looked a little lethargic.
Yes,
but
that's a great place to put a ball field. We took a chance, and it worked out.
Well, and a lot of hotels have sprung up around it, and it's a continued growth in the area. So it's been a good success. And I don't mind someone like Henry coming up and saying, I don't agree with it. That's fine. Let's talk about it. But he got stuck in it. He was right and everyone else was wrong, even when.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I saw a lot of it. I used to go to city councils all the time. You remember when I used to be there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I was in the peanut gallery for a long time, but I'm out here in the foothill. And I'm going, I remember when. But I'm just saying, go ahead.
Your voice still matters, though. Foothills or not, doesn't matter. It's our community. Yeah, you can't vote, but you can definitely engage.
What happens in the city affects us out here.
Sure.
It does.
Sure.
And how does that go, Gil? Well, easy. Taxes. If we got to pay more taxes at our restaurants and gasoline and our grocery store in the city, it's going to affect us out here because we go in the city.
Absolutely.
Stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so Like I said, you were talking about everything else. We'd like to hear some conversation, what's going on in the city, and give us some what's going on.
Well,
I haven't heard you do that in a long time.
well, there's a reason for it, but the station when El Dorado had it,
Yeah.
they didn't
You
want me
can
to.
still do it.
They did not want me to have people in the studio at all. So I really cut off
Right.
a lot of ties that I had with city. I used to bring city council in or city people in every month constantly. In fact, they started their own show because of it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
the same with a lot of local businesses and stuff. And I had to stop that. Now I can tell you, Derek Eggebert, when this AM 560 goes through, which I'm assuming will change all that backlight to where like it was. And him and I have talked. I want to
Right.
get back into having those contacts on air constantly, and we'll get back to that.
Well, the bottom line, this young man, he's a young man to me. I'm 76 years old, so
Yeah,
he's young to
everybody's
me.
young to you, man.
Yeah, even you.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is for him to be able to get the money to buy the 560.
Yeah.
You're buying 560, or is it the whole building? That's
The
what
building,
I like
the
to-
building is not included. It's just a signal.
The frequency,
Yeah,
the
frequency.
license.
Yeah, and then you have to buy the equipment and hook it up to a tower and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some money involved.
So, yeah, we're talking about the studio, 560 studio.
Well, the studio is sold to someone else. It's gone. He has his own.
Oh.
He's right now. I'm at Mortgage One, and that's where the studio is going to
Yeah.
be. It's going to be moved.
Oh,
To-
okay. It's not the old. Okay, I got it.
No, that old building's gone. That's been sold.
Yeah, doesn't Cameron own that whole
No,
property there?
no. That building was individually owned. It was owned by El Dorado. Just that,
Eldorado. Okay.
yeah, that parcel
All right.
was, and they sold it. Months ago, and it was bought by healthcare industry type deal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably Yuma Regional Medical Center.
No, it's nothing to do with
It's a joke.
on Vita.
It's a joke.
Nothing to do with them. It was like a hospice.
Yeah, but how many buildings has Vita bought in Yuma?
Yeah.
Well, quite a few. But anyway, like I said, I'd like to hear more city business going on,
Sure.
Russ.
Well,
And a lot of people there. I like the outside stuff. I do.
uh-huh.
But we need to keep tabs on what's happening in our beautiful city and our county.
Well, I think you'll find a lot more of it. I just mentioned a bank or a Chevron robbery. What else do you want?
Well, Joe, are you really serious? I tell you a lot more I want, but it's your show, and I just thought I'd give a call and
All right.
tell you what people are saying. We want to
Okay.
hear more local news happening out here.
All right.
And I did tell them, I'll call them and tell them that. No biggie.
Really, you're not too
The worst
bashful.
thing
That's
you can
great.
do is, hey, the worst thing you can do is hang up on me. That's the worst.
That'll never happen. All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
Stay easy. God bless.
Thanks. Bye bye. Okay, now I'm going to hang up on
Yeah.
him.
So I am a little curious about the upcoming primary election. Is there one on July 21st? I mean, what's
It's coming up. I mean, today's the last day to register to vote. I know that. It's coming up quickly. Arizona.
so I'm thinking that pretty soon you'll be able to go into the recorder's office and vote.
Oh, within the next week, I think it's coming up very soon. Monday, last day to register to vote. It was yesterday. You missed it.
Well, I'm already registered, so I wasn't worried.
Well, if you haven't registered, you missed it. It was yesterday, actually. The 21st was the last day. As far as voting day,
Yeah. As I recall, I think it's the 21st of July for the primary election. Is that correct?
it could be a month. Yeah. Here's a new primary election date. They had changed it. Voter registration is June 22nd was the last day. In-person early ballots June 24th. It starts.
They start then.
It starts tomorrow.
Does it show you when the election actually is?
Primary election July 21st.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
So I was not misinformed. That's good.
No, so it's coming up. Coming up quickly, like a month.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to look at who is in those primary elections and what choices we have.
Oh yeah, I don't even have my book on me, but I was going through it last night. But
Okay.
I'll bring it in tomorrow. We'll talk about it. But
The election book we get.
well, it shows what governor and representatives and all
Right,
that kind
right.
of stuff. And
is this the one that you get in the mail? 'Cause,
correct, you got one, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did.
It's all.
Does
all
it
out
cover local elections too?
there. Statewide? I
Oh,
think
okay.
that was all statewide stuff.
Well, you know,
you're not
then
going to
we can help Gilbert out by covering some of the local stuff.
Yeah, because Gilbert needs to be informed.
Well, he's politically active. He wants to be informed. It's a very.
Oh, I think he's informed. He says he wants more talk about it, and I haven't planned anything while I'm doing the podcast. It just doesn't reach as many people as I want.
Well, that's a unfortunate reality.
Yeah. But let me talk to Andy. Andy, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're doing well.
Yeah, I'm alive. I got bit by some spiders over the weekend. Just made me sicker. You know what?
Well, that doesn't sound like fun. But go okay.
You know me. I just look for these things to happen. But
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
We're talking about city. Gilbert's on the spot on this. Where do I go to find out what it costs for a project that just failed? A big one.
I don't understand.
They had to put. They hired contractors to put in. This is a city.
Yeah.
Hired contractors to put in what we call a soft black. It's a flexible black plastic that they can weld together. They got a machine to weld the ends together. And then they built more than a quarter mile of this 24-inch black pipe, and they got all the pumps sitting there, and they're going to pump out one of the sewer lines that comes from the downtown area
Uh-huh.
to the going towards the sewage treatment plant. And they were gonna cut a hole across the road going into the west wetlands. And I talked to the engineering group guy that told me, yeah, we're gonna fix one manhole close to my property out here. It's inside the chain link fence where the salt canal is.
Right.
Well, they did all this stuff, and they started to cut across that bypass road on 9th Avenue that comes across the canal towards where I live. And they were halfway through digging this trench by hand, and the gas company came out and cease and desist on them.
Why?
Now, they've already built all this pipeline, over a quarter mile of this black pipe laying there on Water Street. And they were going to cut a trench across the entrance. They even had a sign up stating that 12th Avenue was going to be closed for like 10 days. And they immediately took the sign down. Kinder Morgan, who owns the gas pipeline or manages it, put a sign up directly on the chain link fence right where the manhole needs to be replaced. And it's a cease and desist. You cannot dig within 25 feet of their natural gas high pressure pipeline. So now we got all this equipment laying there. They drug all the pipe, this black pipe from 9th Avenue to 12th Avenue, which is the entrance to the West Wetlands.
West Wetlands.
They drug if you go down and look at it, they drug it all from everything that was on Water Street. They drug it across 12th Avenue, going north going west on the south side of the Salt Canal. They got to have a better plan than this, because I want to know. I mean, these guys were out here for a week welding all this plastic pipe together. I mean, there's big pump stations all chain linked in now, and nobody showed up to work Monday morning.
Is it all in your way? It's not blocking your roads?
They had it blocked. They had my road blocked off time to time where I couldn't get in and out. And I said, okay, not a problem. I can go down to 22nd Avenue and come across the back way through the wetlands to get in. And if they blocked the road off going to the wetlands, that was the only way in.
All right, do me a favor. Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Go out and take a picture of it and send it to Yuma Click and Fix It and see what answers you get.
So, well, I mean, my property's all clear. I mean, my entry is all clear.
Yeah.
Everything else, I don't know what it costs because we're going back to the 6 Ps, and Dean should know what 6 Ps is: prior planning, prevention. PP,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Because apparently they thought they could just get away with whatever they wanted to do. The city just, the 6 Ps, I want to know how much it costs and have they come out with an alternative. Because I have an alternative engineer plan for them. I'm not a dummy. I'm a pretty good engineer. I have a plan for them where they don't have to dig any trenches across roads or anything else. They got all the equipment out here. But, just an old farm boy from Yuma, I got this figured out already. Because what they were going to do is they're going to start pumping and clear that line going on Water Street. That's up, it's not even on Water Street. It's right over the top of where that natural gas pipeline is. I mean, that's the funny part about it. And the engineering guy said, well, I don't know what they're going to do. He said, I'm off for a couple of days now because they have shut the job site down. They've moved everything, all the big pumping equipment and generators and everything else.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
Well,
Because I got to find out. I have a plan, and they just got to go to the federal government and get it approved. But I would take that pipe because it's inside the chain link fence, where they're going to pick it up from the one storm or the one sewer drain. You're going to pick it up at 9th Avenue where it crosses the Salt Canal.
okay.
And then I think, you know what? That stuff they got the equipment. We could just build it and drop it right in that Salt Canal because it's not going to leak. Take it down to where they want to go and have another pump, pick it up, put it back into the next drain.
I'll ask the question, buddy. I'll let you know.
But
All right, man. Take care. Andy wants to fix her problem. I think the odds of being able to put that in the Salt Canal are pretty slim.
I'd have to. There's got to be a project plan for something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a budget for it and all that.
Somebody's aware of what's going on.
Right.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird to have them come out and shut it down.
Well, it sounds like there may be
somebody made a mistake.
snafu.
Somebody could have made a mistake. So they're sitting down trying to figure out how to get around it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way they can get a waiver or negotiate something. I mean, there are. It sounds like Andy has a much better handle on it than I do because I kind of got an idea what he was talking about.
Andy's a really smart guy.
Yeah, so I see.
Yeah, he is. He's helped me in my business for many years. Whether it's automotive, electrical, call him for about anything. He's got to understand. I'm calling Sandy. She called me earlier, and I had to not talk to her. She might not be answering.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Sandy. How are you? I'm
doing good.
I see you're trying to call me when Gilbert was on the phone. I'd rather talk to you than Gilbert anyway.
I shut my phone down so I wouldn't have the competing volume, so I didn't know in the meantime somebody called.
Yeah.
But no problem. If I get a mess, I can't remember what the message was. I figured it out, so I appreciate that.
Oh.
But the reason I called is I wanted to talk about the networks. And I grew up with TV. And, maybe it was an addiction in our family. I don't know. But the programming is the problem. The programming sucks. In fact, I watched a video where this one guy who studied it too, and I might be a little older than I am, but has watched it. He said the very people that created these wonderful programs are the ones that are killing it. And this is what I mean. Basically anymore, I imagine to cut down costs, they have basically cooking shows, game shows, competition shows, reality shows, where you cut down your number of stars and you just have regular people.
Right.
And you have, even in the few dramas they have and the few comedies they have, they don't even tape, I guess that's what you would call it, very many episodes. Say again?
Record
that many episodes. 8 episodes compared to when you guys and me were growing up, it'd be like 22.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so, and then in all their wisdom, this didn't come from me, but I was seeing somebody commenting about it, like myself, and they said, another thing that wasn't very wise is they created this streaming. So you don't even have to watch it at the actual time that it airs. You can go to streaming and watch it instead. So they've killed it. And so I started thinking about it, and I thought, geez, why aren't the TV actors speaking up? Because there's definitely fewer TV actors. Most of the shows you see, and if you watch, say, Ion, if you watch the Outlaw channel, you're watching creations from years ago.
Right.
You're not watching new stuff, and that's generally where I go. I watch those channels more than the network.
You're still watching Gilligan's Island?
I don't have access to that on the channels that I have, at least so far.
All right.
And some of the channels I get to see some movies that are really good, but they play those movies over a lot, even on the Outlaw channel. So you're going like, geez. But then, of course, it's dependent on how many that they have. But I asked the internet, and like Dean says, you can't trust everything. But I said, I mentioned about how the programming was terrible. I mentioned, like, why aren't the actors? I never hear any actors talking about it. And according to the internet, and sometimes I wonder, does the AI try to make you feel happy? But
Yes,
that the
it does.
network
Yeah.
executives were recognizing that this was a failure, that
Yeah.
their programming they're doing is failing, and they're going to change that in the future, and that NBC was leading the way. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. And a lot of the actors obviously do not have jobs. There's a few groups of them that do, but 8 episodes compared to 22, I imagine that right there is cutting down even those that are working. And then, of course, they put on all of these award shows for themselves, and people don't want to watch that crap anymore. So they're not watching that. And even if they do create a show, if it's successful, the competing networks go ahead and like steal the idea and create a little bit of difference. So that, like Twilight Zone, Night Gallery, Murder, She Wrote, Matlock, the original, like Matlock, Columbo, even a more recent comedy, The Middle. They don't seem to have the creative people. And some of them, I wish I could remember the name of this one show that was on the weekends, and he had a whole room full of books that he had and all kinds of things that he had bought from different shops to give him ideas for writing something really well written. And I just wonder about the quality of the creators, the people that come up with the ideas, and maybe they need to open a book, because a lot of the old stuff was created based on books that people had read.
Well,
and
I've seen a lot of
know.
wonderful shows, and I watch, Prime on Amazon or Netflix or MGM or Paramount.
Correct. Well, see, now what are you talking about, though? You're not talking about the 3 major networks.
No, I don't watch any of that garbage.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is those 3 major networks have killed themselves.
Okay.
I don't watch daytime TV, but I wonder about the quality of the soap operas. They probably stink too.
I guess I completely agree with you. I think some of the stuff on regular television, what we used to call regular television, is terrible.
Correct. But they did it to themselves.
Yeah.
They could have remained competitive, and instead they chose to go, I guess, cheap. And maybe the actors became like too expensive, but that should have been negotiated. If I was an actor, I wouldn't want to be negotiated out of a job where, people stopped wanting to even pay for me.
But if
Now,
it doesn't,
some of them also, may have gone to Paramount Plus
yeah,
or like the ones Amazon, Netflix.
yeah. Say it doesn't
know-
matter. There's so many places to go. They don't have to rely on television. They can go all over the place.
Well,
But are
exactly.
they? See, I don't see the other. I mentioned the ones I see. I have Bounce and something else too. So because I'm on Antenna as a cost savings thing, and
yeah,
I grew up with those three main networks with really good stuff on it. And it wasn't until just a few years ago, and probably around the time of COVID. COVID seems to kill everything, along with Joe Biden,
Mhm.
and Fauci. So maybe it was around that time. I'm not sure. And I just think that they could do a better job. Now, that AI thing, like I said, I don't know if it just tries to please you. Yeah, they recognize it. Other people have talked about it. They're going to do something about it. And I thought, well, I'm pretty sure I'm just talking to AI. But it's kind of neat. You can have conversations with them. And the AI thing asked me, well, which of those old shows did you like? And I mentioned a lot of them. I mentioned Western shows like Gunsmoke and I can't remember some of the names like
The
right
real
now,
old ones.
but
Half Gun Will
say
Travel.
again.
Yeah, I don't watch any of that stuff. So I've given up on television for a long time ago. I don't even have an
Well,
antenna.
You did have a choice because you could go somewhere else.
Right.
Right.
So after a while, you just don't even see those, and that's what's killing them. That's killing those networks.
Yeah.
And maybe they've got too many executives. Maybe that's costing them too much, but they can't even be competitive.
Well,
So it's just killing it, like the man in the video was talking about. They are actually killing their own industry. And he said it was an industry. It wasn't, you're not just talking about the actors. You're talking about all the people behind the scenes. And yes, a lot of them may have moved to these other shows, but you're killing these main networks that everybody has on their TV because you didn't do your job right. And he didn't put it that frank, but but he did say they're the ones actually killing it. I just wanted to offer my 3 cents. And then their news is so biased against 50% plus
right.
of the country. Because I read something where basically if you take out the 25 million that Chuck Schumer is saying would not be voting if we went to the Save America Act, which means he's saying there's 25 million illegals, that basically it would be 60% conservative, only 40% liberal. Not Chuck Schumer saying it. It was the analysts saying it, if you took all those people out. And so we would definitely win more elections, and in my opinion, makes the country better. But anyway, and I'm probably never going to get my wish that they go back to all the wonderful shows. I mean, there were really great shows when we were growing up. I can't even remember. I should sit down and write them all down someday. And we had the TV guide we could look at.
Yeah, it's all different now. It's all digital and it's all internet. And that's where all the good shows are. I just typed in on my AI the top 10 TV shows, and it listed Prime Video, Max, Paramount, Apple TV. I didn't see anything on CBS.
Well, another thing that we're talking about is people end up purchasing through cable, direct TV, and so they get a whole bunch of channels that they never watch just to get the few that they do watch.
Sure.
So I don't know if that will ever be a dying industry or if that's, just the way, that's always going to be okay.
It's a growth industry.
The trend is toward just lots and lots of channels, and you can search them and figure out what you want to watch. And the old legacy programs are still there, and that's part of what drives everything. Like I recently purchased the entire series, 225 episodes of old Western TV show called Have a Gun Will Travel. So it,
Oh, yes, that was good.
and the whole 225 episodes cost me $33.
Yeah.
And I've been watching
Cool.
them.
And that,
And so
and you don't have to watch it on like DVD. You're talking about it's actually on a channel.
no, it's on disc, and I have a disc player.
Oh,
but
it
you
is?
can,
Okay.
you can get a disc player for $30.
Well,
And-
we have a lot of DVDs, and so I
Okay.
like have the whole Magnum series. I have Rockford Files, the whole series.
So what I'm going to
Um,
suggest is that if you like a lot of the old shows from what I'd call classic TV era, you can buy them cheaply. And
Right,
you know,
on-
you might have a series you never watched, and you can even look at the series. This is what I did on Have a Gun Will Travel. A lot of those are available for free on the internet.
Yeah.
And I decided, well, I'd like to be able to have a better quality and have the actual show. And my purpose was to have my grandkids be able to watch it. So
Right.
that's what I did
it's
there.
Such
But
superior programming.
well, I think there
it-
was some really good programming done back in the classic television era. But the problem is today is that there's so much competition from other sources, they can't pay the inflated salaries that those people got back then. I mean, they had
Right.
they had essentially an oligopoly. There were only three networks, and there was only so much time that they could put out shows. So they were willing to pay a lot of money. There was a huge amount of ad revenue that came in with those three networks. And so they were able to pay
Right.
incredible amounts of money to people. Now there's so much competition. You can have somebody like Joe Rogan puts out a podcast, and he can be more popular than any television show in the nation. And the amount that he gets paid from ad revenue is a tiny fraction of what used to come in on the television networks. So they just
Right.
don't have the resources to build shows. And there's so much competition out there that you'll have people that do a low budget show that becomes really popular, and they can probably produce it for a tiny fraction of what they used to produce shows
Oh,
for.
yeah. Oh, I agree with that. I just see it as a death knell.
It is. That's
That's all.
what's going to
And-
happen is that the networks, because they are set up to operate on pretty high budget levels, and they have a lot of administrative overhead. You wonder how many layers of administration they have in those old networks. They can't afford to pay people what they used to pay, and so they're continually cutting back and trying to do things cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and you just don't get what you used to get.
No, you definitely don't. And I don't know if they'd ever be interested in reviving it, coming
Well,
up.
Any time that you have money to be made, there will be people who are interested. But the question is whether it'll ever, the old network system, I think that's dying. I don't know if you'll even have broadcast television in another 20 or 30 years.
Edward chimes in now. Edward's in the industry with Paramount. He said, Sandy will never have the big networks develop programming. Video killed the radio, DJ streaming killed the network programming.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Edward, for making me feel so good.
He does that to all of us every day,
but there's a lot of programming out there that's legacy that I never saw, and I'm presuming you probably never saw too. And so maybe
Oh, I know. And that's what I'm saying is what you're talking about. Are you talking about purchasing packets of DVDs?
Well,
or are you
that's what I
talking about
did with
something
this
different?
particular
Okay.
program. But
Okay, we've been doing that
Oh, good.
for a while now. And I love the Rockford. I've seen Magnum over, I hardly ever remember he's Tom Selleck. I always think of him as Magnum. But I love that show, except for the ending episodes of it, much more than, say, Blue Bloods, because it had humor in it. And I like shows that have some humor in them. I don't want, it's entertainment. It's not real life.
No.
That would help if the kids would understand that too, that not everything they see on TV or on their phone is real life.
yeah, it's a very
So-
important lesson for every child to learn.
if they do.
Right.
I appreciate the call,
Right.
man.
No problem.
Thank you, Sandy.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ed also writes, he said the three big networks used to rely on the studios to produce network programming. But with the creation of streaming, the major studios place the shows on their studio platforms.
Makes
They
sense.
do it right. It does. It makes great sense. You know, when we were talking about that,
They don't need the networks anymore.
we were talking about Nancy Guthrie and how
Yes.
hiding and all that kind of stuff. And it's, it's hard to hide. He says, burner phone purchased at an old market. I guess he knows how to hide, I guess.
It's
He said-
there are problems with all of that, and it's getting easier and easier to track things down.
I guess an old market, though, would be no cameras maybe or something.
Yeah. I mean, and
You go into any modern market, there's cameras.
it's
everywhere.
just getting tougher. There's more and more cameras everywhere.
Best way to hide who you are, along with a VPN. And that's gone on a lot where people get
Yeah, a lot of
other
VPNs out there.
VPNs from all over the place that they can hide. Let's see, he sent me a website called oldies.com. Has all
There
the,
you go.
the old shows.
Yeah.
Some of them not that old. I like the new stuff, but it's and there's so many great programming out there. And a lot of it's not even coming out of major. Like The Chosen has been wonderful.
I think we are going to get good programming. It'll just be produced cheaper
Yeah.
because it has to compete.
And
And there's word of mouth over the internet spreads super rapidly.
it has.
And so once a show is seen as positive, people are going to flock to it, and those people will get more resources.
Goes viral. Let's take a phone call. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Dean and Russ. Yeah, I wanted to respond to Sandy there. And I've been watching Barney Miller.
Oh, really?
You guys remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
I
course.
remember it. It was a good show.
That was such a wholesome show. And again, talking about Ed, it's a shame that some daughters don't have fathers. You and Dean, you have daughters that have fathers. Ed has a daughter that has a father. It makes a big difference for daughters who don't have fathers and daughters who are taught by the media and such.
Agreed.
But I remember the TV, what has been lost, was a way for the family to finally get together. You wanted to watch a certain show at night. And Barney Miller was one of them that I remember. And I came across it a couple of years ago. I don't watch TV, but there was there some of these have what they call background, the theme song.
Yeah.
When you listen to that theme song, it really brings back memories. So the living room that I grew up in, and we all sat and we watched this show. But if you watch Barney Miller today, it is so you could not have that humor today.
Well,
Now,
no.
there is one, they hit everything, and they hit everything hard. They use words that that are censored today.
Yeah.
But there is a show. It's a very good show on Barney Miller, and you should look it up. It's about the elections. And I think this is during the time of Nixon Humphrey, and everybody was wanted to know who they were going to vote for. But the show was surrounded around just a lot of familiarity and commonality. I don't know if that's a word of elections. And it's a very good show. You'd be surprised if you watched it, your jaw would be open, your mouth would be open the whole time, thinking, "Wow, they said that." And they don't make shows like that anymore.
Well, Barney Miller had a spinoff called Night Court, which I thought was pretty
What,
good.
was that a
too.
spinoff of Barney Miller?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really, I didn't. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
But,
that Night
you know,
Court
that-
was a spinoff.
and that was another show that was that was a family show. Back then.
Yeah.
And you had Cheers, and shows like that. But you don't need to buy anything. You just go to YouTube, and it's there. It's there. You go to YouTube, you put in search, and you find anything, and it's there.
You find an awful lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have enjoyed occasionally watching old movies, even if you have to watch some advertisements to watch them. And a lot of them are very interesting and worthwhile watching.
They had a story about what's going on today, and what's going on today is what was going on then. But you can see how we are so filtered, and the problem is that, and again, where Sandy is right, where they've made a mistake. They try to guide us into that filter, and we just said no. We're the ones, Sandy, who broke them, not them.
I think
we're the ones.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And if I could comment on Ed talking about giving his daughter a leash. Again, you got to come to there are two groups of daughters out there: daughters who have fathers and daughters who don't have fathers.
Yeah, that's a big problem in our country.
Yeah.
And if you have a daughter, and obviously she's grown up under your wing. Now she's going to be dealing with daughters who don't have fathers, and they may seem to have a lot more excitement that is not appropriate for the time of age. I think age is divided into, of course, decades. And each decade, you're supposed to conquer a certain sense of self. And if you don't, you go into the next decade with that not conquered. That's called baggage. And you don't start manifesting baggage that people see until you're in your late 20s and then your 30s, and you say, what's wrong with that person? Well, grow up. But the thing is that if you go to scripture and you go to Proverbs, the first 9 chapters of Proverbs talks about 6 words that I've put into an acronym called Whoop Kid. But it all is about prudence. And prudence is choice. And what you need to make a proper choice is discernment. And then what you need to have discernment is the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding. And you have wisdom and knowledge and understanding that you're going to get spiritually. And you have wisdom and knowledge and understanding that you get from your father, from your family, from your brothers, from your sisters, your cousins. All for the main thing of prudence, of making a proper choice at that moment. You have to put your children on a leash, but you still have to temper curiosity with wisdom. Should you jump off that roof with the other idiots? Should you how far out should you swim? And if you get into trouble, that's the thing. What do you do? So I'm speaking to Ed now. And both of you guys probably know this from raising your children. If you get into trouble, what do? You have the line back to me. That's one of the things is you give them checkpoints. You can do this, but you have to call. You have to let me know where you were at this time, so I know where you were at that time that I lost track of you, and it gives me an opportunity to. That's the last contact I have. Yes, that's a dark thing, but when you're letting them temper their curiosity, they have to have controls, and controls is contact. A father is a father and a daughter relationship is by far the most horrendous relationship after they start, getting their freedom. I don't think a father ever sleeps. I don't think a father ever relaxes until that daughter is in bed and you can walk through, you look at the door and there she is, you know. So I don't know. That's my $5.
Well, I appreciate the call, buddy. Take care, man. Yeah, a lot of insights. I had to go back to Proverbs real quick and scan it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, since he brought it up. Fathers and daughters. I slept well.
I slept pretty well.
I trusted my daughter. You know, I thought
Well,
she
it's
had,
huge variation. Children are all
was trouble,
individuals, and
Yeah.
you know and we have a lot of input, but we don't control everything.
no. Change the subject. I got this article on the Tesla. I saw you were looking at it. The autopilot was left on, and the car left the roadway, crashed into a home, and killed a 76-year-old woman that was inside the home.
Well, that's what they claim.
That is what they claim. And the county sheriff's department said Michael Butler was traveling eastbound down a residential street in Katy in Tesla Model 3. He said he was using the car's autopilot mode at the time of the crash. Butler failed to drive in a single lane, left the roadway, crashed through the side of a house. Ring doorbell footage of the crash shows the vehicle crashing into the home at a high rate of speed. Struck and killed a 76-year-old Martha Avila. And she was inside the residence and all that kind of stuff. Transported, flight. She died when she died of her injuries eventually. Now, the company's website for Tesla says that it notes that the drivers are supposed to remain ready to drive, even with the autopilot mode on. In fact, Tesla's not driven. I mean, it's not sold as a jump in the back seat, say, take me home car. You have to be in the driver's seat. You're still legally in control of that car.
I don't know if they even have autopilot mode anymore.
They don't call it that anymore. They had to change.
There's full self-driving, but it's different.
Yeah, they had to change the name.
Yeah.
The autopilot.
But this is claiming that autopilot. So is it real?
They still call it, some of them, obviously, these people are still calling it autopilot.
Right.
It was sold as autopilot. I think they've changed it.
So what Tesla does have is they have recording devices, I think, in just about every car.
Oh, sure.
And they're
Sure.
often connected through the internet. So there will be a forensic
Well, there already is.
investigation of all of this.
I sent this article to Greg this morning, like at 4 a.m.
Oh.
And said, well, if you're in a Tesla, aren't you still supposed to be in control of the car? You know,
Sure.
and you are. At this point, they're not claiming that it's something you set free. In fact, the website points it out that autopilot and full self-driving capability are intended for use with a fully attentive driver who has their hands on the wheel and is prepared to take over at any moment. This article makes it sound like the car took over.
Well,
And it wasn't Michael Butler's fault.
I'm skeptical about it because it's a very unusual circumstance.
Well,
And so it'll be interesting to see what comes out when the forensic audit of all the data captured.
well,
by
I think
the
that's
vehicle.
already out. Greg's already done some work, and he says the car was not in autopilot.
Oh,
He said they said it was in manual, and he had the accelerator pressed all the way to the floor.
gee.
Probably suicide. I don't know where that came from. Probably suicide.
Might have been intending suicide.
Yeah.
He didn't
He did not accomplish that. He failed at that also.
Well, it's gee, what a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, terrible. Well, as soon as I read it, I said, that it can't be true. It was on autopilot.
Well, I'm hesitant to say things can't be
Well,
true.
I
But
was
I was
skeptical
very skeptical of it.
I did not think that was true. That would because you're supposed to be at the wheel with your hands.
Well, that wasn't what hit my mind as to be so skeptical. It's the way the car was described as acting. It's just not the way they're programmed to act.
No, it wasn't. So I don't know what Greg read to get this information, but I figured he would want to know right away.
I'm sure there are accounts out there explaining what happened.
Carl sent me a note this morning with his new sign supporting Andy Biggs. He said it says "Go big, go Andy Biggs" for governor. I think that's funny. Yeah, good for Carl. Carl made that up. Let me see. Andy's calling back. That's twice in one day. Do we take two? Let's talk to Andy.
Yeah,
Andy, what's up?
You better take two. So
Okay.
I did a little calling around after I talked to you. And I
Yeah.
talked to a junior engineer at the city, and he started laughing. He says, "How do you know about all this stuff?" And I go, "Well, I have memory, and I talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm going to get hooked up with a senior engineer. He's going to call me back in a little bit. We're going to have a meeting out here. I have already written down a blueprint plan on a crayon on the back of a postage box or whatever it is. My routing where I don't have to do any digging anywhere near the gas pipeline, and we'll shut down 12th Avenue for 48 hours to put the new sewer drop line through there, and we'll be 75 feet away from the gas pipeline."
Oh.
And this young man I talked to, he's going, "Oh my God, why didn't we think of that?" I said, "Because you don't think like a damn farmer. You got to think like a farmer. How do I do this? How do I, and I told him what the 6 P's were. And he agreed with me. So now he's got a senior engineer for the city. He's going to call me, and we're supposed to have a meeting sometime today or tomorrow.
Good for you.
Wow. I want you to get some consultation fees.
Well, no, I have an ulterior motive. I want them, while they're fixing the other one, I want them to put in what they wanted $80,000 for.
Oh,
That's something different. I can't talk on the air about.
that would be fair.
Yeah.
All
Because
right.
they're gonna have it tore apart anyways. But I did listen to you once.
Okay.
I don't remember when or why, but I chased down and finally got a junior engineer that knows the project. He was laughing when I was telling him what I know, and he goes, "How do you know this?" I says, "Because I ask questions. Nobody asks questions anymore. Nobody thinks ahead of schedule. Come on, figure it out." So thank you, sir.
All right, buddy. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
That was Andy. He got it. He was right all along. And Tanya sent me the article from Art Morales. And
Oh, yeah.
I guess they did have an executive session on Wednesday. Members began to vote the process formally censuring council member Art Morales, which is a shame. I like him. I don't know what he did, but apparently, just like I already knew, he was accused of saying something from executive session publicly afterwards, and you're not allowed to do that. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air. Good morning, Carl.
Hey, good morning, Russ.
Hey, bub.
That 2 cents for today is that signs I put up on 24th Street and 3E.
I
Put it
saw
up
it.
about 3:30 this morning.
So
I
go
went out and
big.
did it when it's cool. Yeah. Well, go big and go Republican. Save our country, huh?
Yeah, that's great. He should hire you as his public relations guy.
Well, he lets me know he appreciates what he does for
Oh,
me.
excellent. Good.
Yeah. Those are made out of old Democrat signs anyway. So
Wow, that was pretty nice. I like it.
yeah, I got some more on makeup. Well, it's called recycling campaign signs, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And I have fun doing it. 83-year-old men, you got to do something to keep busy.
All right, buddy. I appreciate the call.
Bye.
Bye-bye. According to the article, and I guess I knew this, but I forgot about it, but Morales is accused of telling Henry Valenzuela some information that was from the executive session.
Ah.
Uh,
So it was essentially leaked out to a person.
well, yes,
That's what the accusation is.
right. Yeah. That's unfortunate. That was a mistake.
Sounds like
It
it.
shouldn't happen. And that's too bad because I mean he's a good guy. And he didn't run for re-election. He's done at city council. I mean he served his time. He's done a great job, and he's backing out. You know, he's leaving, but in his last months he has that hanging over his head now. I guess.
Well, if he's leaving,
He's gonna be
maybe it's
censured.
doesn't feel as consequential.
I don't know. I'm sure he doesn't like it. He cares about what people think. He does.
Most people do.
Yeah, he does. That's too bad. The SpaceX just recently went public
Right.
You know, it had a IPO, initial public offering, and I talked to some people that were buying the stock, you know, gonna invest in it and all that, and they were expecting with $150 initial public offering, they thought, man, that thing's going to be $300 in the first day.
Well, that's a little high.
Well, it did not reach that. In fact, the highest it's been since June 12th was when it started, was $225.64, and then it kind of settled down below that. Well, yesterday it jumped down 16% and got down to 154 this morning, which is very close to its initial offering, 154. So if you haven't bought any, it's now the big time. They said it wiped out 400 billion in market value. Of course, that's market value. That's not real value, and that it wasn't sold. So I mean, if you're holding on to it, it doesn't cost you.
Yeah, you don't.
It's unfortunate.
You don't make a profit or lose money until you actually sell.
Yeah. So it took a dip, and right now they're trading around 153. It says.
Well, it might be a good time to buy.
I don't know.
I looking at the potential upside, and we talked about this a little bit with Starlink. There's a potentially they can make a lot of money.
Correct. Well, I say 153. It was at 153 when it first opened. It's back up to 157 now.
Yeah, so obviously other people are seeing the potential.
Well, yeah. So it's bouncing around, but that's kind of typical on IPOs and
kind
stuff.
of the way stock market works.
It's going to find out where it belongs eventually.
Correct.
But it wiped out 400 billion in one day in market value. That's doesn't mean anybody lost money unless you sold at the wrong time or whatever at the time. It was interesting. And in this article, it talks about where they make their money. Starlink satellite accounts for 61% of the revenue.
No, makes sense.
Well, but they're known for SpaceX. I mean, they're known for rockets. I mean, that's the exciting part.
How do you think the Starlink satellites get there?
True, but they also make money on rocket launches. They do it for a lot of people.
They do, because they have SpaceX and Musk have figured out how to reduce the cost of getting into orbit.
Yeah.
They've reduced the cost of going into orbit by roughly 90%.
I read an article not too long ago where it said that of all the launches done in the entire world, there are more than half of them. Just that one company.
Yes.
And they had like 60 some in 1 year or something last year. 60 some launches.
60? I'm thinking that might have been in a month. I mean, they have. I was looking at a number that talked about that
month,
and the number of launches was way higher than anybody else. They were talking of hundreds of launches in a year. I'm trying to think of how many.
It says just AI real quick. They've conducted well over 650 orbital and suborbital flights across the entire lineup. That's of course.
Yeah, in how long?
160 just in 2025. So I said 60. It was 160.
Okay, well that's still.
I must have not read the one. They launch from all over.
Well,
they don't just launch from California.
There's I think 3 principal launch sites. There's Vandenberg. And maybe 4. There's a spaceport near just 100 miles east of El Paso. Van Horn, Texas is very close to that. But I don't know if they do a lot of launches from there. Then there's the Gulf Coast, Gulf of Mexico on the Texas coast. There's a big launch site there. They do a lot of launches out of there. And then there's Cape Canaveral area. They do quite a few launches. I don't know if there's any others.
I think they just launched one from New Zealand.
Oh, interesting.
No, maybe not. No, that was a different launch.
Different company.
Yeah, different company. I think so. That was well, and I got that from an article that was says Space Force mission, not Space Force.
Right.
And you wonder what space and it's a big question in my mind about Space Force. That what do they really do?
Oh, well,
I mean, they don't own rockets.
Well, they hire people to launch satellites, and probably most of them are launched by SpaceX. That's a huge advantage.
Well, that would be easy to say, because they're the ones that do most in the world.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And because they do it so much cheaper and more efficiently. And a lot of that is because the booster stage of the Falcon 9 rocket is reusable. And some of them, I think there's one that's been reused like 30 times.
Yeah.
So that just makes it tremendously less expensive. Now, the Starship system as a heavy booster, and then the Starship itself, that system is the biggest rocket to go into orbit, to deliver cargo into orbit ever, and it's still in development. It's not being used in commercial rocket launches right now, but they designed that whole system. The lower stage and the upper stage are supposed to be reusable, and the projections I read is that would reduce the cost of putting a kilogram into orbit by another 90%, going from it used to be like $50,000 to go into orbit, and now I think it's around 500, and they're projecting it to go down to $50 per kilogram with significant orbital flights with the Starship system. Now that they're still under development. They hasn't gone commercial yet, but they've had significant successes on the way there.
I was reading on this one mission that are called Victus Haze. It's a mission dubbed Victus Haze, and it's a tactically responsive space mission, which has got me intrigued. Okay, tactically, which I guess Space Force is going to be tactile, to do stuff.
I don't know if that would fall under Space Force. It might.
Well, this one does. And that mission was on June 19th with a contractor that launched a satellite to low Earth orbit in less than 17 hours. So I guess they pick up the phone, say, I need us in there. And in less than 17 hours, they were able to do it. Now, that's pretty impressive. That spacecraft will now conduct a series of maneuver demonstrations with another vehicle. So they launched something within 17 hours to go out and rendezvous with a different spaceship.
Sure.
And this is something Space Force is doing. Now, the mission launched from Rocket Lab's private spaceport on a peninsula in New Zealand. Now, Rocket Lab says it's Electron rocket. I don't know who they are. Lifted off with its Puma satellite to low Earth orbit early June 19th, just 16 hours, 42 minutes after receiving launch orders. So I guess Space Force picks up a phone, says launch, and 16 hours and 42 minutes later, they got it up in the air. And that shattered a previous record of 27 hours. So apparently, they're going through exercises to find out how fast they can react to needs.
Right. And there's some prep time. Now, what SpaceX expects to have multiple launches per day eventually. So right now, you said, I think 160 in a year. So that's roughly one every other day.
Yeah.
So they're looking to increase that by a factor of 10.
Well, this Puma will soon begin a multi-phase rendezvous operation with a second satellite already on orbit. True Anomalies Jackal spacecraft. So I had to look up a Jackal spacecraft, and I'll get back to that. And it launched in early May on a SpaceX Falcon 9.
Okay.
And with launch complete, the team will now complete an on-orbit checkout and vehicle commissioning, after which RPO operations begin. And RPOs, I forget what that stands for, rapid. I'll get back to that. But Space Systems Command said on June 22nd, during these operations, the teams operating both Rocket Lab and True Anomalies space vehicles will conduct a variety of scenarios demonstrating space domain awareness and characterization capabilities, each in dynamic engagement with each other. And I'm thinking, what engagement? what are they doing? So I had to look up the Jackal spacecraft that got launched on Falcon, and they have a website out there. And the Jackal spacecraft is, and they dance around what they really do, but it's a rapid fit mission with hard points. Now, hard points is something I hear that's on fighter jets.
Well, it's to connect various things.
Connect various things. But fighter jets have hard points.
Right. usually for munitions, but
It-
other things too.
Yeah, it could be. It's purpose built for space superiority.
Okay.
And they said they mentioned it could be listening devices. Now, they didn't mention armaments. They just mentioned it said rapid scalability and flexibility, provide operational dominance in any orbit, payloads up to 200 kilograms, any mission, any orbit, anytime. That's their own website on this
Okay.
this thing. So it sounds like they're not telling us exactly what it's going to do, but it's got capabilities. And it talked a little bit about the maneuverability and the amount of maneuverability they have at that altitude and the different maneuverable jets they
Right.
have to put it in wherever they want to go. So it doesn't tell us whether it's on a mission to repair a satellite or to destroy one or to do something.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, what I'm getting from your saying is that it's built so that it can hook up with other spacecraft coming up to it
Or run a multitude of missions that they're not going
and-
to tell us about.
and move among a number of different orbits.
And that wasn't the one that was, and that one was already up there. The Jackal
Right.
spacecraft launched in early May, and then they launched this other one, Rocket Lab, lifted off its satellite, and it's a satellite. It doesn't say it's a spacecraft. It's a satellite, so I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, it
But
sounded
we,
like
but
it's
we know
gonna
the Space Force is working.
connect. Yes. Well,
They're doing something.
Eventually they will be they're already very important, and eventually they're going to be as important as the Air Force.
But apparently the that satellite, the Puma, the Rocket Lab's Puma satellite, appeared to pass within 100 kilometers of the Jackal satellite on the evening of the 19th. So, like right away, right after it took to the
Well,
air.
100 kilometers is like 64 miles. So it's
I don't know.
not like
I don't know if
super
that's close in space, but
Well, yeah, space is a big place.
you can almost see it from here.
Yeah.
So the award was first given to True Anomaly and Rocket Lab to develop spacecraft for the mission. Rocket Lab provided its own rocket to launch its space vehicle, and True Anomaly contracted with Firefly Aerospace to launch the Jackal. Firefly Aerospace couldn't get it together, so they had to rely on SpaceX. So I guess they were looking for other alternatives to SpaceX, but
Well, competition is good,
yeah, it is.
and other organizations will eventually develop reusable rockets.
It sounds like they're all contracting with Space Force. Space Force is making all this, is overseeing this
Well,
stuff.
I would expect Space Force to have a number of contracts having to do with space.
Yeah. I'd like to know more about what they're doing. I don't think we're going to find that out. The True Anomalies Jackal platform, the company said that this new mission will build on the lessons learned from, and they mentioned 3 other missions they've been on, and help shape the next generation of responsive space missions. So these are responsive space missions. I guess they're waiting for a phone call, and the bat phone rings, and they got so many hours to get up in the air and go do something. it
Sure,
sounds
there's
like.
all kinds of things that might be there. Maybe I want better photography of a particular place on Earth, or maybe I want to look at another satellite, or perhaps I want to gather magnetic signatures of a launch vehicle or something. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking militarily, but militarily could be information.
You know,
Yeah.
almost everything can be used militarily one way or another.
And they said Space Force operators will have a chance to use the satellites for live training. Now, this Lincoln Miller, he's a lieutenant colonel. He said, not only does this mission open the door for acquisition of follow-on vehicles that allow our warfighters, he says warfighters, to close critical gaps and seams in conflict scenario, it also presents a more immediate value by giving our current operators a crucial opportunity to exercise and improve tactics, techniques, and procedures. So they're dancing around what they're really doing.
I was going to say that's pretty generic.
Yeah, it doesn't say a lot. Mission correspondence by the Defense Innovation Unit that will feature a SpaceX Falcon 9 launching as a highly maneuverable spacecraft built by Impulse Space. highly maneuverable would seem to be a big deal to them and to the company.
Well,
Highly, but so we can cover.
every satellite is limited by how much propellant they have on board.
Yeah.
And it sounds as if this Jackal could be refurbished or resupplied by another satellite. So maybe you could send up a satellite and transfer propellant to it, and that would keep it moving around.
It didn't use any of its propellant to get up there. I mean, the Falcon just took it up there and dropped it off and came back.
Well, exactly,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying.
So it's
is,
got its own propellant on board now.
of
to move
course,
around.
but eventually that propellant will run out.
Run out. Yeah. And they call it. It says the Victus Sol launched by Firefly's Alpha, which will carry operational payload, which we don't. They're not telling us what that is.
No,
It
it's
says
carrying up something that will do something.
it's designed to help solidify its responsive launch process, like rapid payload processing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, all that is
Yeah,
just,
it's
just generic. I mean, it just
Yeah, it's like
it's going to do something.
It's like listening to Kamala Harris speak. You know, there's a lot of words, but you're not telling me much.
Yeah, not a lot of specifics.
Yeah, not a lot of specific, but it's intriguing. I mean,
Well,
Space Force is a military organization. I mean,
yes.
it's military.
And since the first satellite was launched back in the 50s,
Yeah.
people have realized that space is the ultimate high ground. And that's
But theoretically, we're not supposed to weaponize space.
well, there's limitations on those weapons treaties. Primarily, they say you can't put nuclear weapons into space.
All right.
So I don't know that it says you can't put directed energy weapons or you can't put kinetic weapons. The treaties are very specific, and as I recall, one of the major functions of the treaty was you can't put nuclear weapons into space. There may be other limitations. Perhaps other people can educate us.
I don't know. You know, one time they were talking about, and I think we talked about it on the air once, where they were going to drop a titanium rod.
Yeah,
that could be
those are
directed or
rods
something.
from God are
Yeah.
is the technical term for that, and it's an interesting concept. Originally developed back in the 1970s, and it was completely impractical because you had to put so much mass into orbit. It would cost you hundreds of millions of dollars for one rod.
Not practical.
Now, with Elon Musk and SpaceX decreasing the cost to orbit per kilogram by so much, it might be a viable
Of course, what
concept.
we're talking about, one rod would hit at such a velocity, it doesn't need explosives.
That's right. It would have when it hits the Earth, the kinetic energy would be very large, and they talked about some of them getting to the level of a low-level tactical nuclear device in terms of energy.
As far as much damage it would be.
Well,
but-
it would release that amount of energy.
Now,
Getting down to maybe
but how would
to the kiloton yield or something like that.
you can't just fly over and say, okay, drop it now. I mean, how would the
Well,
rods
they'd
be
be
deployed?
extremely rapid response because they're in orbit. You could, some of these orbits go around the Earth every few hours.
Yeah, but I'm talking about I mean, how would you guide that? It's not
Oh, you have fins on it at the back end.
Oh,
you
you-
have
you-
sensors on the front.
okay.
You watch where it's going and you make corrections.
So just like like those things they put on bombs and stuff, they could.
oh, sure,
they
it'd be a
could put
smart
some
weapon.
Smart weapon.
I mean, that's the idea of it. Now, there's some technical challenges. The front end of something dropping out of space tends to get really hot. So I don't know if we have sensors that would be able to do that. But I've watched. You can watch the something like a Starship come down out of orbit. Now they slow down a lot, so that would be different. The rod would just keep going faster and faster and faster.
Is there a
till it
terminal
hit.
velocity or not?
What do you mean?
A terminal? Is there?
Oh, yes,
the
of
amount of
course,
speed it
of
can catch.
course there is, but because it's punching down pretty much straight through the atmosphere from the top to the bottom, there's a lot less friction,
yeah.
and it's designed to be very relatively small diameter for a great length. That's the idea. They call it a rod from God. So the terminal velocity would be probably would be continued to accelerate until it hits.
Okay.
And that's and the velocities we're looking at are enormous.
Like
tens of thousands of miles per hour.
Okay, more like a hypersonic type weapon.
Way beyond hypersonic.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about if you drop, and you have to. it varies a lot. If you're in low Earth orbit, you don't get as much velocity. If you
Right.
start further out, you get more velocity. But the concept was found to be completely impractical in the 1970s. Now maybe it might become practical.
Well, this spaceship can only carry a payload of 200 kilograms.
Yeah, that's not enough for a rod from God. We're talking 20,000 kilograms for something like that.
Oh my.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're talking about 20 tons roughly.
Wow. You're dropping a few cement mixers down.
It's a big, yeah. And this thing is like essentially a
Wow.
solid metal rod. It's the size of a telephone pole.
Right.
Something like that.
Somebody called and asked me earlier today about would I have ever been asked to do anything on air that I didn't want to do or I disagreed with.
Yeah, I recall that.
Which has never happened. I mean, I've been very fortunate. I've never had to say, "Hey, Russ, we want you to
Well,
promote
you're
this."
pretty independent, you know.
Yeah, but no one's asked me to be less than that, you know. And I've been very fortunate. I've not had anybody say, "I don't care what you believe. I want you to say you believe this for our advertisers or something." I've never had to face that, which is good. There was an Iowa news anchor that just quit on air because he didn't like having to do the news that was sanitized. A guy named Dustin Nolan. He was working for I don't know what it was, what kind of station. It's KWQC TV6.
Oh, it's TV station.
No, it's a TV station. And so he does a live broadcast just this last Friday. He says, "I'll try to get through this." Well, before we go this morning, I have an announcement. Today is my last day at KWQC TV6. I have chosen to step away from the news industry. Before I say goodbye, I just want to say, I hope every one of you that's allowed, I hope every one of you that's allowed me to be part of your mornings know just how important that I've taken this job. When it comes to this job, I've ever wanted to do is report on the issues that really matter. I've always believed that we as a local news station owe you, the viewers, the best that we can do, because without you, none of us would be able to do the job. I also believe that we as local news stations have to be more than trends or sanitized news because it makes people feel uncomfortable. That's why the facts matter. And that's why we do what we do here. We have to take people out of their bubbles and comfort zones and make them think about the world we all live in. Also thanks his coworker, Jenna Jackson, all the station, all that. But apparently it's an NBC affiliate. But that's what he said local. I mean, but he emphasizes he wanted to deliver more than the sanitized news. Apparently he was having a problem that he didn't agree with the way NBC was presenting the news.
Sounds like it. Sounds like there were things that he thought that should be broadcast that weren't being broadcast. Well, that's his opinion.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a lot. It doesn't take much to start up a podcast.
No, but that's another. It's not easy. I mean, to give up a paying job that's paying its mortgage, that's doing all that kind of stuff, and say I'm gonna do a podcast. We'll see if I can become Joe Rogan.
Sounds like this was coming for a while. He'd made a decision. So
yeah, but he did it on air, and I guarantee you that the station didn't know he was going to do that.
Probably not.
They don't let that happen. That's why they usually let you go after hours. They don't let you go in the morning and say, today's going to be your last day now. Go ahead and get that show done. And
he had planned this out.
Yeah, he planned it out.
He knew it's very likely that he was not fired, that he was.
No, he quit.
Yeah.
He but he just wouldn't do it anymore. He just wouldn't do it. I guess he didn't like doing the sanitized news. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air, Mike.
It's me again.
Yeah,
I respond to that guy. You know, they don't get it. They just don't get it.
What do you
Let's go back to Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
Everybody thought Rush Limbaugh influenced us. Rush Limbaugh was our voice. Rush Limbaugh didn't make us anything. He made us know that our voice is now out there. That we were called ditto heads because we followed in line with no. Rush Limbaugh was our voice. And what these mainstream media people don't understand is, hey, how about just center on the truth? How about just center on the truth no matter how ugly it is?
Right.
You know, You're not telling us anything. And that, right there, that statement, that's where you're wrong.
What's
You're
that?
not telling us. No, I'm not saying you.
Oh,
I'm saying the
him.
guy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's where you're wrong, buddy, because you're not telling us anything. You know, we make up our minds, and we've already made up our minds. We want to just hear the truth. That's all. You know, the bottom line, the last thread is that stupid pond. What is that called? The mirror pond?
Oh, the reflecting
And
pool.
Yeah.
The reflecting pool.
Yeah.
And how they are just trying to be so chintzy. If you want, you know, I wish they would put on mainstream media, and there still is mainstream media. Nobody watches it, but I'll tell you what, people would watch it if they do this. Let's put the Senate congressional hearings on mainstream media. Let the people see how just utterly ridiculous the Democrat Party is, how utterly ridiculous their arguments are, how childish they are. You know, why don't you tell the truth? You're not telling us anything, and that's my response to that guy. You know, he's sitting there confused as to what do we. You know what? Just tell the damn truth, which you haven't done since the Walter Cronkite.
Well,
You know?
I got the impression his hands were tied, and he had to read the script. Is what the impression I got, that he didn't like giving the sanitized news. But so good for
Well,
him
you know
for
what?
leaving. But
Right. You don't. Well, nobody's hands is tied. You know, you can leave, or you could stay.
yeah,
And so that's not an excuse. You know, right now they're talking about how IA is going to get rid of people's jobs. It's going to get rid of a certain kind of job, but nobody gave a damn about construction workers in the line of HVAC to electrical to building construction, framing. When you got fired by your boss, nobody give a damn about you. The thing
right.
about it was, you know, there was no media out there, you know, talking about, you know, the world's coming to an end. We all sucked it up, and we got better, or we did something else. You know, that's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my 10 cents. But, you know, buddy, you're not telling us anything. We already are who we are.
Yeah.
We're Americans. We're Christians. We believe in one God. We don't believe in all these other gods. We believe in one God, not Allah, not the 100 gods of the Hindu. We believe in one God, and that God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah.
And you know, from there cascades our sense of self. So that's where these people are wrong from. You know, their whole outline is wrong with it if they believe that. They think we're stupid.
Yes.
They think we can't make up our mind, that they have to make up our mind for us. And that was one thing that Peter Jennings Peter Jennings, the other guy was Chandler. That was after after Reagan won big in that landslide. You could see that they were so viscerally wronged by that. They were so viscerally hurt that they made the statement that they were going to tell us the news we needed to hear. You remember that?
I don't remember that, but that's interesting.
He said that on mainstream media. He said that right there for everybody to hear.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna define the news, and then we're gonna tell it to you. And you know, that's what they think. That's what they think of us.
Yeah.
And they're in for a rude awakening, a very rude awakening. And you know, this pond, this is the last straw of how they're handling that.
It's the biggest news story to some. Some of them, it's the biggest news story that Trump failed, and they're out celebrating it like it's a holiday.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up. They're in a blue state, at a blue city, 5-6 years ago, maybe further. It was under the Obama administration. There was a waterway that was poisoned. It's still poisoned to this day. They haven't fixed it. That's the Democrat a local legacy. Remember the dams from that one hurricane when Obama was president? All that money that was going for infrastructure, stupid. It's the infrastructure, stupid.
Yeah.
And that levy gave, and a lot of people got hurt by that. You know. So here's the thing, though. Glenn Beck, O'Reilly, Bongino, who's the other idiot? Hannity, the biggest idiot of idiots. You know, they don't bring this. They don't bring this stuff up.
Yeah.
All that they do, and that's my complaint, Russ. They just give us the narrative, the Democrat narrative. They give us the news that the Democrats tell us. So let's remember all of the stuff that the Democrats have done and failed at. I think it's essentially everything.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate the call, Mike. Thanks. He's passionate.
He is.
I like it.
But if you want to see what's going on in the Senate or the House, C-SPAN is there.
Yeah, and it's no comment. But what somebody said about Rush Limbaugh, he doesn't have to tell us anything. We already know it. In a sense, Rush was our voice, and we listened to him because we aligned.
Well,
but
I think that's correct.
But he did tell something. I mean, he was an excellent interpreter, an excellent understanding, political, and sometimes he would toy with us and not give us the answers, and then he'd finally give it, and you'd say, "Oh, that makes sense." But he was teaching us at the same time.
I think it's
But he was also resonating because we aligned ourselves with.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the secrets to Rush Limbaugh's success is that he reached an audience that was not being served.
Correct.
I mean, a huge, probably half the country that was not being served by the old narratives in the old media.
And something he always said, or at least he said early on that I know about, but he said, you have to be entertaining now.
Oh, yeah.
And he was certainly that. I mean, his little commercials, some of his comments
He
and
was
stuff.
brilliant at it.
He's almost like a gut-filled, although not obviously comedic, but
well, there was a lot of humor in the show, and
Yes,
he
there
always
was.
said that.
Yeah. But I think Gutfield took out after him then, man. Maybe. But he was brilliant on his analysis.
Yes, he was.
I would like to say, well, he only said that because I already knew it, but that's not true. He did.
Well, it's a combination.
Yeah.
I mean, he was serving an unserved audience of probably half the country.
Yeah.
And so that his viewpoint resonated with half the country.
But nobody's been able to duplicate him.
There are a lot of people that are taking partial
correct. But it's
portions
it's
of
his
the audience.
personal style, his personal
right.
way of
I mean,
doing things,
he was just a brilliant guy. He was one of a kind. He basically saved AM radio.
Yeah.
He became very wealthy doing it. I
think, and Joe Rogan's totally different guy.
Right.
But it's just as good at reaching people.
Right. I think the market is just more fractured because of the nature of the media has been changing. But yes, Joe Rogan is very successful. I thought Bongino, before he went to the FBI, had a significant reach, and there are others.
I think he got better in time.
Oh, of course.
I think he really got a lot better. A couple things I did, I made mistakes on. One was I said Joy Reid was fired by CNN. I was wrong, and one of my listeners pointed that out. It was MSNBC fired Joy Reid. I mean, she was fired.
Yeah. Okay.
Wrong company. wrong company. Now he says, I say he, I think it's he. I remember the 200th 4th of July. There seems to be less enthusiasm for the 250th. I don't know. And I've been pushing that around. I mean, I remember the 200th also, and it was it was more patriotic as a country.
I think so. I think that what we see is there's just this the significant portion of the population that has been taught to hate America.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's really very large, maybe 15, 20%.
I think it's more than that.
Might even be 25, but
yeah, there's a
but-
lot of the younger generation hates America.
and I think it's a very misplaced hatred. I think it's based on false assumptions about both reality and false belief in things that just aren't true.
Right.
But I don't think that existed 50 years ago.
I
At
don't,
least it
not
was
to that extent.
Not as much in the open. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's much more open now by even leaders in our country,
Well,
political leaders, and
the Democratic Party has gone way far to the left, and it's you can see the mechanism, but how it's gone there. There are, if you don't kowtow to the far left part of the party, you never make it through a primary. And so that's what's happening. I don't think that is going to serve the Democratic Party well. It may serve the country fairly well because I think the country as a whole will reject that. You don't win national elections when most of your policies are rejected by 80% of the population.
yeah. Another comment he made that Night Court was not a spinoff of
Oh
Barney
gosh,
Miller,
well, I was wrong.
but it was considered so by many people because the
Well,
creator was the same and the influence was the same, but the technically they weren't linked, but many people called it that
yeah, okay.
as a spinoff because it was so much
Well, it was
similar, so similar.
it was
But they didn't share any actors or anything.
it was the same general time frame and place. They're
Right.
both in New York
Right.
City. They're both basically about the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
And the way they were produced was
And-
very similar.
Well, that's because it was the same creator.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so they did call it like a spinoff at times, although
But
it
it
wasn't really
Yeah.
not
Technically was not a
not a
spin-off.
spinoff technically. All that. And during that time, no one mentioned, I think it was Mike that was calling up and saying about you just can't do that today. You can't say those things. And all I could think it was All in the Family is what you really can't say.
Well, all
You
of
know,
the-
that's the one that was like over the top kind of racist and rude.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But All in the Family promoted far left views. That's what it was intended to do. I think
Well, I think it made,
unintentionally it actually had the reverse effect.
well, no, I
for a
think it
lot of
intentionally
people.
made fun of far left views. I thought.
Well,
I mean,
I didn't
I-
watch it
I don't know.
a lot, but from what I saw,
I watched it as a kid, but I don't know. But I
I think those may have been unintentional. But yes, when they made fun of Archie Bunker, one of the main characters, but Archie Bunker became a hero to a lot of people.
yeah, he was outspoken,
Yeah.
not ready for prime time kind of guy. He was he was rude, obnoxious, mean.
In a lot of ways, he was a caricature of conservatives.
I think so at the time. Racist,
Right.
yeah, and all that. But it was a popular show.
It was very popular.
many seasons, and we laughed with him because he was over the time. It was a character. It was ridiculously funny, but I did enjoy the show at the time. But I thought it made that. Well, I guess he was supposed to represent conservatives. He would be a bad conservative to my mind.
Sure.
Yeah,
But
especially being like that.
it was, in my opinion, he represented a leftist a leftist view of what a conservative would be.
Probably. The Trump is threatening New York Times now with more defamation lawsuits. He's been successful with those.
Yes.
It's helping pay for his library that's not planned or built yet. But apparently there was a Sunday Times analysis. Neil McFarquhar said, he wrote in a headline, "What changed after almost 4 months of war? Analysts say not much." And it was really just poking at Trump that that you haven't changed anything, nothing, everything's the same. And all that stuff,
Yeah.
which is a bunch of crap.
It is.
But Trump said the way the corrupt and failing New York Times is covering stories on a very battered and beat up Iran through fake and made up facts, in my opinion, treasonous. I will be adding all their false and ridiculous reporting to my multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against them. They are criminals.
Well, it's one thing to say something is your opinion, and it's another thing to claim it's fact.
Yeah. But this Neil guy just doesn't like him.
Oh, not too surprising. I doubt if there's hardly any people at the New York Times who like Donald Trump.
Right. He says neither the war nor the agreement ended what U.S. and Israel officials regard as the main threats emulating from Iran. You know, he says you haven't reduced the missiles, ballistic missiles. The regime's still there. All the regional proxies are still there. The nuclear program is still there.
What planet does this guy live on?
One that wants to get sued.
Obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, I think he's just not correct in much of what he's saying.
Trump said their military's done, their Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, their launching pads, missiles, drones, and manufacturing of same is almost gone.
Right.
And you know, we talk about patriotism and all that, and I don't expect everything because Trump said he wants to do something like, oh, I agree with everything he does. I'm not saying that, but we've still got, you know, a big percentage of our floating, you know, military hardware in that area. They're still in harm's way, and he comes out saying everything you've done's a lie. I don't know.
Well, he's probably reading Iranian press releases.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it.
Yeah. How many times have our aircraft carriers been sunk according to the Iranians?
Twice, just the one.
So
the Lincoln was sunk twice. And we know how much has been hit. We know the nuclear site was blown up, and now the nuclear material is buried under tonnage of rocks. We know, and so it's not like a program. I don't call that a nuclear program. We know that all the ships that were sunk and the military that was, you know, neutered. And granted, not all. I mean, no analyst says all the ballistic missiles are gone. Many of them are buried and may be retrievable because they're in mountains and all that kind of stuff. But
if you listen to what Iran claims, you know, they have
they're stronger now.
They've completely defeated the U.S. The U.S. is retreating. They have won, and I think that's probably what this person is channeling.
But does the New York Times not care about being sued anymore? I mean,
Perhaps
do they not care? And I keep reading these articles that say that Trump is destroying journalism because he's suing them and putting them out of business and stuff. They're doing it to themselves. I think Neil's destroying journalism.
I agree. When the left talks about journalism being destroyed, what they're talking about is they no longer control the narrative.
But they want to direct us versus
exactly.
report.
You know, on the left, the ideal of free speech is you can say anything you want as long as you agree with us.
Yeah. And they will tell half truths all day, and that bothers me. I've always been, let's tell the whole truth. People are smart enough to figure it out.
So they used to be able to get away with it much more.
Yeah.
When there were not alternate means of information out there. But now there's hundreds, thousands of ways to get information.
And because of all the wonderful data centers, we've got it right at our fingertips.
Yes, and it's going to become even more so. I mean, the hard part today is figuring out what sources to trust.
Correct. Including AI.
Oh, don't get me started. I mean,
because they will lie to you.
I use Grok 4.1. It's a very useful tool.
And you pay for that one.
Yeah, I pay for it. And you have to check it. Yeah. It puts out things as fact that are simply not true.
And a lot of times they're referencing material that wasn't true to begin with.
Correct.
So it can.
And in my opinion, it relies way too much on existing sources that it finds to be how to put it, credible. For example, I think it relies way too much on whether or not a paper was, quote, peer reviewed. But what we find is that peer reviewing doesn't mean much anymore.
No, not if you pick the peers.
Right.
Looks like.
And there are hundreds of journals out there.
I had my phone turned over. I missed a call from Gilbert, so I'm going to call him right back.
Yeah, fine.
He probably wants to correct me on something. I don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
Gilbert.
Well,
how are you, sir?
Pretty good. I have to chime in.
Go ahead.
You know, you know, I've always been talking about how the Paris peace talks in Vietnam and all that. Now we're seeing more evidence of all the BS that Iranians are doing, the governments are doing, and we still haven't got out of there. We have accomplished a lot. Yes, we have. There's no doubt about it. But still, there's no peace treaty, correct?
Correct. We're not out yet.
Not yet.
No.
That's for
We're
sure.
not out. So what I'm saying is I'm smelling the same BS as I smelled when I was 18, 19 years old from our government.
Oh, you think Trump will walk away with nothing accomplished?
It's starting to look like it, isn't it, Russ?
No.
I mean, there's already
Well,
been a
to me
lot
it is.
accomplished.
I mean, well,
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. But the bottom line, they're still talking a lot of crap, and they're still doing a bunch of crap that's dividing our country within ourselves.
and you're
Just
talking.
like
Wait,
it is-
let me get this straight. Who's talking the crap? You mean the press is talking the crap, or
Right. Presidents are talking the crap. Our legislators, our senators, and our
Okay.
congressmen,
All right.
the Democrats, they're dividing us more because we haven't got anything done like he said he would do.
correct? Correct.
He's
I
done a
agree.
lot. He's done a lot.
I agree with that. But I thought you were talking Iran's talking a lot of crap, which of course they are.
Oh,
and-
they
and all
are.
that.
They're talking. They've
But-
always talked crap. That's what I'm getting at. They're talking crap, and we're taking it.
But
We're
they're,
taking all the crap they're talking.
and I think I understand it, that they're talking conclusionary, like it's all over with, and he hasn't done anything. It's not over with. It's still in the
Well,
process.
Yeah. How long is this process going to be? Another
know.
5 years?
No, it's
It-
only
it
been
just-
3 months, but
Oh, I know that, Russ. I know that.
yeah.
How long? 3 months. But remember how long he said it would take?
I don't remember him having
I don't
I
recall.
remember. I recall him saying it's not going to be a long war.
well, that's
But then
true.
Again, what is
It's already
what
not.
is long?
Yeah,
What
we're
is long? What
we're-
is long?
we're in
right?
the negotiations after 3 months. I mean, and it really the
Well,
There's
kinetic
been-
action was like 10 days.
I think 2
yeah,
weeks.
exactly. And it still didn't. I'm just saying that I'm tired of all this crap talking.
Yeah.
Our country's divided.
Yeah.
Iran is talking trash. They got their butts spanked like a bunch of redheaded children in East LA.
Right. Well,
And,
Yeah.
and I'm tired of it. Russ, we need either
uh,
crap or get off the pot.
there's nothing we can do with. They can talk whatever they want. I'm more worried about, like you
Yeah.
said, the legislatures. I'm more worried about the press and stuff. That
I'm worried about the elections. I am
Yeah,
tired of I
course.
told you so. Now look, right now, the left, what they got going for them right now is a damn algae pool.
they're doing
and the
dances. They
news-
got dances going
Oh,
on.
yes. And the news media is lapping that up because they ain't got nothing else to say except for how much money we spent.
Well, and they
And-
spent a
and-
fraction of what Obama did trying to do the same
Yeah.
thing.
But then again, Obama hasn't paid for a lot of contracts. There's a lot of stuff going on the media is not putting out.
Correct.
And that's a lot of our problem. Let's get this damn war. I ain't gonna call it a police action. We already had 2 of those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vietnam.
Yeah. Vietnam's police action. Yeah.
Now, what was the Iraqi war? Was that a war or
No,
was that a police action?
I think it was an 8-year police action.
I'd
Yeah,
call it
yeah.
a war, but
Yeah, I know.
But you see what I'm getting
It
at?
wasn't a declared
And-
war though. But, yeah.
Right, but we're doing it to ourselves, and our commander in chief is helping that happen.
The-
And I love the man.
you
I
think
love the man.
what could Trump do better? What could he do better? What would you want him to do?
What's the old saying? Those who talk crap winds up smelling like crap.
Okay. Well, you want
In
him to
other
what?
words, I want him to finish it. Bomb the hell out of them. Nuke them if we can. Not nuke them, but just destroy that country with what they have right now,
Yeah.
and let the people build themselves up. We can help them build themselves up. There's a lot of countries that are willing to do that.
Yeah.
As long as we allow them to talk crap, nothing's going to be settled.
Okay.
And I'm irritated. I am upset.
You could
I
be
am.
that way. That's fine.
Yes.
I
it's
wanted.
America.
We're all impatient, buddy. Me too. I understand. All
Yeah,
right.
but that's one thing. I'm just tired of all the BS, and they're talking how great Donald is. He is.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of good. He's done more good. But you know the old saying, Russ? I'm pretty sure you do because it's happened to you. It's happened to me.
I'm old. Go ahead.
1,001 attaboys is all great, but that one all caca destroys them all.
Okay. I appreciate the
You ever
call,
heard
man.
that?
Yeah.
You ever hear that, Russ?
Of course.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm getting at. How many attaboys did you have and that one all caca destroyed them all?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
There's where I'm at. Later.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye. I understand, but gosh, and we have not done all the bombing we could. I mean,
No, not even close.
You know, and when you look back at the presidency of Bill Clinton and Obama, they went in. Where did Obama go? Was it Syria? Was it Obama was bombing for 8 months or something?
Libya.
Libya. He took out the bridges. He took out infrastructure. He bombed and bombed much more than
Yeah,
whatever.
I think you're talking about Clinton in the Balkans first,
Balkans
and
too,
then
yeah.
Obama in Libya. Both of them went after numerous called dual use structures, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And Trump has not done that in Iran yet. He keeps threatening it and then using it as a stick, and we'll see where we go.
Well, I was
think
thinking of
he's-
Serbia is where he did.
Yeah,
and
Serbia would
Kosovo.
have been Clinton.
And that was 11 weeks. And they bombed flat everything. They accidentally hit hospitals. They took out roads, infrastructure. And
Right.
really, it didn't make him any better there than what Trump is right now with Iran. And he didn't have to go that far.
And he was not, the media did not go after him.
Of course not. And it was 11 weeks
Right.
of straight bombing. And Trump is trying to go a different route.
It looks
I
to
don't-
me
I
like
don't-
he's being successful.
I think so, but
what I'm hearing is that there's a
but
fair
it's
amount
not
of
done.
a fair amount of traffic through the Strait of Hormuz now.
Correct.
There's a lot of oil coming out, a lot of fertilizer coming
But
out.
do you realize if you go to AI and say how many ships are going through, they're going to say like a dozen or 15 or 12. And if you ask the Trump administration, said we just could put 70 through, we just put 50 through, and the difference is the U.S. Navy's escorting them and telling them to turn off their transponders.
Makes sense.
And they're not recognizing if they can't see it on the map where the transponders are blipping.
Well, there's a source I use for trying to figure out what's going on. It's I think it's sort of a podcast called G Captain, and the guy is really good. He's a very good analysis, and he's one of the things he mentioned, for example, is that the price of nitrogen on the world market has dropped by like half in the last few days.
Okay.
And so a whole lot, most of the nitrogen comes out through the Strait of Hormuz. The price had gone up to, I think, $780. I don't remember. I think a ton. And now it dropped down to like $380.
And I got that disagreement with somebody yesterday where, I said, look, Trump is saying 67 ships went through this day. And if you look it up on other sources, it'll say 20. And I said, well, I think Trump's right because the price of Brent oil's down.
Right.
And it wouldn't be down unless we got lots through.
Unless a fair amount of oil was coming out. And the same thing, as I mentioned, with fertilizer. People were very concerned about nitrogen fertilizer because it's necessary to grow the crops that everybody depends on to live.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that the price of nitrogen has fallen by more than half, which is what I read this morning. So, okay, it can change. But that indicates that probably we're not going to have huge starvation.
Something's going through.
Yes.
See, the gasoline is down. I never did check, see where it is, but
well, in Yuma, I know it was down to let's see, 295.
Well, here's what my fact checker says about bombing Iran. He said reducing Iran to rubble would not weaken the mullahs. It would hand them a recruiting victory as hungry and frightened families turn to whoever can help them feed their children.
I think that's
right.
I think it's a valid way to look at it.
I mean, it's painful to look at what we're doing right now. And that, constant threat hanging over their head, we're going to bomb you, and they just keep asking for it.
Well, and we're going to see whether the theocracy survives the next 6 months.
Yeah.
They're not very popular.
No, and I think Edward's got a point that if we kept bombing them, they'd rally to them as the only savior.
Yeah, they might. I think that's a serious consideration.
It's not an easy situation to put that Trump's in. Trump's in a bad situation.
I don't see it that way necessarily.
Well, I mean politically.
Well, he's always had the never Trumpers, Trump derangement syndrome. The more I look at how he's handling this, the more clever he appears to me.
And I think he's been very successful with the reflecting pool because there's never been more people around the pool than there is right now. Unfortunately, they're all liberal press trying to point out how bad it is.
Well, I just
I
don't
can't believe how many stories are on that.
There are quite a few, but what I'm seeing is how the protesters are harassing the troops that are protecting the reflecting pool.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's not a good look for the left.
They had to bring it out because there's been so much vandalism. And it's kind of amazing that somebody, I guess, took a knife or something and cut like a 250-foot cut and that blue stuff. And then
Yeah, it's pure vandalism.
It's all vandalism. And the algae just exploded. It exploded. And so I looked on the internet to say, well, how would you make it? And they say, well, you could dump phosphates in it, and basically the nitrogen, fertilize it a little bit.
Phosphates, yeah, they increase the growth of algae.
Yeah, and of course the warm weather and the short and the shallow, that's already built into it, the warm weather shallow. So I was listening to a news reporter that said, I went there and I pulled out my own sample of water and I took it to a pool supply store, and they said that it was too high in phosphates. That's why they're growing. So Trump's bad. I'm like, well, wait a minute. If it's high, where'd the phosphates come from?
Exactly.
Now, of course, some of that's going to come from bird poop or something like that. It's going to increase phosphates probably, but if it's showing high according to the pool guys that are testing the water, that just gives validity that somebody dumped something in there.
Well, I think there's no question there's been considerable vandalism.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody's reported on whether high levels of phosphates are dumped.
This is the first one I saw. Well, they were saying they dumped chemicals. I didn't know what chemicals, but then this lady did an independent test from a pool company and said it's high level of phosphates. It doesn't make sense.
Well, it makes sense if somebody dumped a bunch of
somebody
phosphates
dumped it
into
in there, and that would help with the algae bloom.
Right. Exactly. So.
Yeah. And somebody wants Trump to fail.
Oh,
believe it or not.
Shocking. I think there's a lot of somebodies out there, and they don't seem to care if they destroy the country order to discredit President
As
Trump.
long as we put a blemish on Trump, it's all worth it.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
It is. And did you see those ladies that dress themselves up with wording that says, go algae? They're rooting for algae.
No, I hadn't seen
that. And they're
that.
Carrying signs and dancing around. We love algae. You go algae.
It's utterly bizarre.
Oh, it's like surreal to look at. Like, there really people rooting on algae? Algae can't hear you.
Right. I mean, it's just like, no matter, as long as it somehow hurts Trump, I'm for it, no matter what else. I mean, it's just bizarre.
Begging for it. And they are Trump said they're going to have to drain it to fix that cut.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Drain it. Unfortunately, even though it's a small part of the pool, it's a big pool, but it's a small part of it, but you can't fix it without draining it. So
yeah. Okay. Well, it's really stupid. I've always thought the idea of cutting off your nose to spite your face was bizarre, but that's what appears to be going on with the left.
Yeah, and they've already arrested a few people for vandalism, and of course the grass where they put in the 86, 47, they burned that into the grass. Obviously, they use some kind of chemical, walked around and burned the grass and they've got a lot of that covered up now, but. It's just wanting to destroy
this self-destruction. That's bizarre.
Real quick, because I'm running out of time. I can't believe it goes too fast. But California Exodus 2.0 is coming on. I didn't know there was any more that could be done.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in California that can
But-
still leave.
And we're going to blame SpaceX for it because that IPO made a whole bunch more millionaires. Now they got marching orders too. They're leaving. The guys that just made the millions, now they got enough money to leave. And this article goes through a lot of real estate agents that are getting a fresh batch of calls from California
Oh,
on-
okay.
on moving to Florida.
Well, that's been going on for quite a while.
Well, there's a big surge after the SpaceX IPO.
Okay. Well, that could be true. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be connected.
Yeah, so they're calling it the 2.0 because it's the newly minted tech millionaires. We got for another 4,000 of them, and they're saying, I can move now too.
Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense. I mean, if your net worth suddenly goes up into the area where you're worried about California
Yeah.
confiscating your wealth, it
Right.
would make sense you wouldn't want to stick around.
All of a sudden they're going to go before they cash out.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you have it in stock right now, it's
It's
I
not
don't think
income.
it's not income.
Right.
They got to move to Florida so they can cash out.
Well, actually, think about it. There's no income tax in Florida, and what's the percent income tax in California?
One of the highest in the nation.
Yeah, it's relatively high.
Yeah.
I think it's like 5 or 6%.
I thought it was higher than that.
Might be.
Um,
But the point is that when you're talking a couple $1 million, that's a significant amount of money, 60,000, 120,000 for 1 million, or 2 million.
California has a progressive income tax with 9 marginal brackets ranging from 1% to 12.3.
Wow. What's
High-
the highest? What's the
that-
bracket? Do we know?
It says high income earners face an additional 1% charge on taxable income over $1 million. So these guys that are new millionaires, they got to get out. Bringing the top margin to 13.3. The bracket, 4% at 43,000, 6% at 60,000, 8% at 75, and then it goes to 9.3 at 385,000 a year, 10% at 462,000 a year. We start talking tech guys, they're going to hit those numbers.
They could. If you're a new millionaire, if you got all that income in 1 year, which I suspect they wouldn't sell all the stock in 1 year, but it could happen. That would that's a significant. Now 10%. That's $100,000.
So, but if you make over 770,000, 12.3%, and then it goes up to 13.3 at $1 million.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, and there's people that make that there.
Well, that's right. But again, just because you have the value in stock doesn't necessarily mean it's
No,
income.
but if they want to sell it and start doing stuff,
correct.
you can
And
lose it.
there's already been a capital flight from California because of, frankly, California is a poorly run state.
But this article's telling there's a real fresh one now
Yeah, could be.
since the IPO. And let me see this one guy named Gross. He says there's going to be a transitional event with the IPO where executives are finally going to see probably the biggest cash day most of them have ever seen in their lives. And many of them are not making millions. They're making tens of millions overnight. And I think that's going to have them thinking long and hard about South Florida, Miami in particular. And what we're seeing here is a shock in a positive way to the financial balance sheets of individuals, particularly out of California, where I think they're going to be moving in a matter of months, not years or decades. And they're already seeing them, that people are calling.
No,
all
it makes
that.
sense that there would be an uptick. But
So-
there's a lot of news out there about how bad California is being run too.
Of course. And that's just another reason.
Yes.
That's just another reason to go. But they're all talking about the IPOs and stuff and what it's done for their business. And they're coming to California and they're coming to Florida. I don't blame them
Well,
because it's being run terrible.
some of them may come to Arizona. I would not be surprised at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Texas and also.
But these guys looking to cash out now, if they're doing that, they want to go with their zero income tax.
Well, that's true, but they still have to pay federal income tax on this stuff.
This says that SpaceX and AI rival Anthropic, billions of dollars in overnight liquidity are about to be unlocked for executives and middle management alike. But instead of reinvesting in the Golden State, this incoming class of newly minted tech millionaires, multimillionaires, is already flooding Florida real estate brokers with calls, triggering what's experts say could be a rapid fire tech exodus 2.0.
It can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we will find out. This is mostly speculation right now.
Well, the calls are not speculation.
Well,
And he said, and according to one of the Fort Lauderdale Development Authority CEO, says the California area codes have already started showing up, and apparently they bring their area codes with them.
well, yes, because of the way that the cellular phone market is set up. I mean, I forget when it was. I think around 2000 or so, when Congress passed legislation that you kept your phone number.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you didn't lose your phone number when you lost service through a cell company. You kept your phone number and it would transfer to a different phone or a different phone company. So most cellular phones now, the number on that phone stays the same no matter where you live. So if you were in California and you moved to Florida, you now have a California area code that's being used in Florida.
Oh.
So that makes sense.
It says tech jobs have actually grown 20% since 21. And the increase in wealth in terms of our downtown population has grown at the same time. And this is in Florida.
Right.
Our downtown economy supports over 43 billion annually in economic impact, and that's a disproportionate overarching share in high value industries like tech, finance, and professional services. So I think you see this isn't just a lifestyle neighborhood, it's actually an operating environment for new businesses. And we have the engineering and infrastructure emerging to prove that.
I think that's correct, but
Yeah.
I think you also see it in Dallas and in Austin.
Oh, yeah.
In Texas.
Yeah, this one was just on Florida.
Right.
Alone. A lot of it's going to Florida, but it's going all over. But I didn't think that IPO would create a big exodus. But I understand how it would now. A lot of people may cash out.
It's probably an observable blip. Because there was such a huge increase.
But I don't know how many more blips they can take in California.
Well, I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, California is being horribly run, and
Yeah.
it has been horribly run for decades.
Yeah, and probably will
it's
be.
It's all accumulating. If you read Victor Davis Hanson, which I highly recommend, he'll
Mhm.
talk about how bad California has been run and what's happening. And the voters voted for a huge increase in reservoirs to be created.
Mhm.
They designated billions of dollars to do it. Gavin Newsom took the money and used a good chunk of it to blow up dams,
2 of them.
to reduce
Yeah.
the amount of water that was available through reservoirs, and they haven't built a single new reservoir.
Nope. Even though they did a voter referendum.
Yeah. And the voters, and it specifically says this is what you will do with the
Yeah,
money.
and they didn't.
Well, they just didn't do it.
Sue me.
Yeah.
I guess. Now, and David Hanson lives there,
Yes, he has
And-
lived there his whole life.
and he's watched the changes, and he sees the different ways that illegals are handled versus people that live there.
Right.
And like his responsibility as a taxpayer and an owner of a farming area and all that kind of stuff, they beat him up.
Yeah,
And
you
yet-
have to follow all the rules.
You have to follow the
because
rules.
we
And
said-
right down the street, and he'll mention, well, you're over here talking to me about my trash cans. What about the guys down the street? Oh, we can't touch them.
Yeah.
They just tell them we don't touch them.
Wow.
They got a free pass. They're not from here. You knew better.
Yeah.
So they punish you, and he's open about it. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm sure that doesn't give him better handling by the police or anything.
It's hard to know,
Yeah.
but he's a celebrity. He's
He is.
well known in the area.
Yeah, he's vocal.
He is, and
Very much so.
he says that most of his relatives in California disagree with him quite a bit.
California is very liberal. He seems to not be.
Well, he's a classic historian.
Yeah,
He
smart.
is he's very bright. He's wonderful. He's a great writer.
Yeah.
And he's a great analyst. And you can listen to him. Just do a search on any on the internet, you'll find he has a lot of stuff available.
We got to put the rest of this off till tomorrow. We're out of time.
Very good. It's
Thank
been
you
a
for
fun
being.
show.
I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. Dean and I both actually tomorrow. Have a happy Tuesday. See you on Wednesday morning.